Let's get nasty on a Tuesday in the fast lane with Andrew Marsh. I'm Carey Davis. Your time check is 2:03. That time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. And Marshy, you and I today, me and you today.
Yes.
We're going to talk some Cardinals, man. We're going to start off with the Redbirds because we're about 9 days away from opening day, man, and we got we got more questions than answers on one particular player, I believe, right now. And you talked to me about it in the office. Jordan Walker is in the lineup today. He is gone 0 for 3 with 1 strikeout. And your question that you posed to me is, are the Cardinals hell-bent on fixing Jordan Walker before it is too late? So I'm going to let you kind of dive into what your thoughts were on that, and then we'll get into some things that Derek Gould said, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, so, well, we talked about this yesterday and where we thought Jordan Walker was with this organization, how we see this year playing out in terms of him progressing, and if it is essentially a pivotal year for Jordan Walker. I believe it is. But then Derek Gould talked with BK and Ferrario today, and they talked a variety of different topics, and one of those topics was Jordan Walker. And Derek Gould had a lengthy response when the guys brought up Jordan Walker, but there was one thing that stood out to me, and that's, I'm going to play it right now, and then we can discuss it. But I want to get your thoughts on it, because to me it's somewhat of an admission of failure. Here's Derek Gould on BK and Ferrario.
At least some of the scouts that I've talked to have often said that the Cardinals should have let Jordan be Jordan earlier and let him grow into the power, as opposed to trying to goose that right away. The organization in some corners shares that opinion, that they kind of got ahead of the game, and maybe that set him back in ways that shouldn't have happened.
So in some corners of the organization, they share the same opinion that some scouts have had, and that I would say a majority of our text line has had for, the last 3 years?
Yeah.
To me, the Cardinals are going to do whatever it takes to make sure that this guy ultimately reaches that level of success that we all envisioned him having. So the idea of, okay, this is maybe his last run at it or whatever before they decide to move on, I don't think so anymore.
Yeah, I think, well, first of all, let's be let's fully transparent here. I love being right. Like, we're on a show, like we talk to the listeners, and we have listeners, and when we're wrong, Marshy, they point it out immediately. You say somebody's name wrong, you call somebody Francisco Mendoza too many times, then other people start calling them that. They love to point out when we're wrong, so I love to point out when I'm right. I think we all like to be right in this business, and I have said this same thing for a number of years about Jordan Walker, that the Cardinals, with this launch angle methodology, that he needed to have better launch angle because he was hitting the ball too many times into the ground, that he needed to fix it, was part of the problem of how he got ruined in the first place. He had 116 hits in 117 games. It is hard as hell to hit a baseball. It's one of the hardest things, I think, in professional sports. If you fail 70% of the time, you're probably going to the Hall of Fame. 30% of the time, you're a Hall of Fame. Like, those are the numbers. So if you're failing 70% of the time, people look at you and say, man, you're amazing. You hit it 30%.
Right.
Look at you. Look at you go, man. And so this notion that it is just absolutely easy to hit a baseball, and then, now I need you to hit it at a different angle from where you're hitting it at. The nerds got involved, and they ruined him. To this point. I'm not saying that he's completely ruined, but they ruined his swing. I listen to Hall of Famers and future Hall of Famers and guys that have had a ton of home runs, more than you, me, every person in this building combined. Albert Pujols said launch angle is not something that you should focus on. Alex Rodriguez said, I don't know why you would focus on launch angle. Hit the ball. Because why, Marshy? It's hard as hell to hit a ball. And so now, this young man who had 116 hits in 117 games, my math says it's about a hit a game, if I'm not mistaken. I know we said there wouldn't be math here, but I think that is good math. He got 116 hits, and from that point on, when they said you need to fix this, because for whatever reason it's not sustainable, you're hitting the ball on the ground too hard, but guess what? He's smoking it. Now he's not hitting it at all. So who looks like the genius, right? for me, to hear Derek Gould say that there are people in the organization, some people that are saying maybe they should have just left him alone. Hindsight is 20/20, ain't it?
It is.
It is unfortunate that, I've been a fan of Jordan Walker since he was called up, since he got this opportunity, since we started hearing about him in the minors, once he got drafted, all of the things that come along with being a young potential superstar or even a young everyday Major League Baseball player, NFL player, NBA player, whatever it is. If you're the 15th man on the bench in the NBA, you worked your ass off to get there. You deserve all the kudos in the world. And if Jordan Walker is the 24th man on the roster, that's kudos to him because that's what he earned, and he got that to do. He earned the right to do that. But the fact that we are here, I guess, year 4 now, and we're saying, oh, I guess we messed up, man. I guess launch angle ain't that important. I guess the people with the analytics and the people that never done it should have shut their asses up and minded their damn business and let this young man mature at the rate that he was supposed to. He had 16 home runs his first year. It seems to me like all things were pointing in the right direction, and then all of a sudden they weren't. So now we have to give him more time, and that is going to be frustrating for a segment of fans as he's trying to get it together, because it's not going to be immediate. Right? The success came. It was really good his first year. He had some pitfalls. He had some valleys that he's gone through, and now he has to find a way to get back to the top. And hopefully all of the work that he is doing and has been doing will eventually work its way out. But I just find it very disheartening for a young player with so much talent to kind of be tinkered with. And now here we are, and everyone's saying, oh, I guess we shouldn't have done that. Man, that was wrong.
I think I'm interested in knowing, like, when he said the corners of the organization, I wonder which people fall into that category of having the same opinion as the scouts, the same opinion as a majority of our text line. I wonder who are those people. Obviously, we don't know, but I am curious to know that. And I think it is going to be a frustrating few years for fans if he ultimately cannot get back to the player that we all hoped that he could be. I think it's going to be very frustrating, especially when you see other prospects maybe come up and start to have more success right away. Perhaps, maybe they don't, but we hope they do. And then we're like, well, how come Jordan Walker can't do that?
Right.
He was supposed to be that guy. Is he just going to be another name in the pipeline of guys that didn't work out here in St. Louis?
Yeah.
That's why I think the Cardinals are hellbent on making sure that he doesn't become one of those players.
Well, if you break it, you got to fix it. Essentially, is my thought process on it. If you broke something and you were part of the problem of why something was broken, yeah, it's better fix it. Marcy, I'm sure you and your brothers broke plenty of stuff at the house, and there were times that you broke it and tried to super glue it back together before your mother got home. You break it, Marcy, you got to fix it, and your ass better fix it before mom gets home from work, right?
You bringing that up, like, I immediately went to one scenario of when I was a kid playing knee hockey, and my dad had all these, like, McFarlane, the little figurine things up on a shelf.
Yeah.
And man, I was playing knee hockey with my cousin, and one of them broke.
Oh.
I think it was a Bob Gibson.
Panic set in quickly.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, I immediately tried to glue it back together. I put it back up there. I'm like, I'm not going to say anything, which I probably should have said something, because, like, weeks to months later, my dad's like, Adrian, get over here. What is this? He knew immediately that I did it.
You did it. He knew
for
it.
Sure.
He knew you did.
And I got in way more trouble than probably I would have.
You tried to piece it back together so it looks like, well, when the next person picks it up, it just breaks in their hand.
Exactly.
Like, what'd you do?
Yeah, it was Bob Gibson one too. So, like, I mean, that was a really nice McFarlane.
That's all
that I ruined.
You got to fix it, and you tried, but unfortunately, you were unable to fix the Bob Gibson McFarlane. So hopefully the Cardinals are better at fixing Jordan Walker than you were in that scenario.
Well, hopefully they're not super gluing things back together, right? Hopefully they're trying to do what they can do, and it sounds like they are to a degree. He's going into the hitting lab and whatnot. So again, this is just spring training. Once the regular season rolls around, I mean, he could be knocking the cover off the ball within the next week, right? Who knows, right? That's baseball, right?
It is.
And all of a sudden, these conversations that we're having seem to go away because he is hitting when it actually matters in the regular season. But it starts right now.
Yeah, we want to see some success. So hopefully everything works out well for him. That's Andrew Marsh. I'm Carey Davis. Coming up next, the World Baseball Classic final is tonight. Will that be able to deliver the excitement that the fans have been clamoring for? We'll talk about it next on 101 ESPN. Welcome back to the Fast Lane. I'm Carey Davis, joined by Andrew Marsh, and the World Baseball Classic final is set. The matchup will be tonight, USA versus Venezuela at 7 p.m. Central Time in Lone Depot Park in Miami. And Marshy, you were talking about the excitement of the World Baseball Classic, and can it deliver that same excitement for fans tonight? And maybe can some of that energy transfer over to regular season baseball games or even postseason games here in the future for MLB?
Yeah, we talked a little bit about this yesterday. I think from a regular season standpoint, I don't know if it can ultimately translate just because of the amount of games that there are. I think when it comes to having players represent their country, there's just a little bit more excitement there. It feels like you're playing for something a little bit bigger. I mean, Aaron Judge even said the other day that the environment is almost like better than a World Series environment. And maybe that's because those types of events are a little bit more corporate. The tickets are super high. With this though, you're getting different people from different countries, and they're really excited about watching their favorite players represent their country. And so you're seeing that with a lot of these teams. The game last night was awesome. Venezuela, they end up going down early, but then they rally back and end up winning that game. And so I'm excited about the matchup tonight. Of course, we have the United States there. But, when I was watching these games, and I know we talked about it yesterday, sometimes it's hard to find the games if you're really not looking for it. But I was tuned in last night, and it got me thinking a little bit about how we view baseball, at least for like some casual fans, because there's the conversations of baseball's boring and all this other stuff. We got to, use the pitch clock and speed up the game and all this stuff. But then you see players that are using, their personality to sort of, drive the game forward in terms of the excitement level, at least within the ballpark. And I feel like you could feel it a little bit through the television while I'm sitting on the couch. I'm like, man, that's a cool environment. I would love to be there. But then it got me thinking, okay, with baseball where it's at, and I feel like it's in a pretty good spot, but of course you have the lockout that will be coming up if it happens. I think we all think that it will. But, is it more, does baseball need more of that flavor, that personality, or does it need to go back to a certain style played on the field? And we've talked about this multiple times. You even said a couple weeks ago, baseball sucks based on like the three true outcomes and whatnot. If you had to choose between the two, which one do you think could ultimately propel baseball that much further ahead?
I think when you allow players to be themselves, and because everybody's not cookie cutter, everyone is not the exact same person. Everyone has different emotions that come out when they, do well or do poorly. I think that when you allow people to, express those emotions, that's when you get the real entertainment of sports. Sports is not, I just hit a home run in the bottom of the seventh inning to go up by 2, and I'm just going to act like it didn't matter, even though we're a couple of outs away from going to the World Series.
Right.
Like, that's not realistic. But if you do that in July and you get too excited, then the pitcher might hit your teammate the next time up at bat, or he might hit you, because that's you can't show anybody up. I don't see NBA players not showing anybody up. I don't see NFL players when they hit somebody hard, they don't just walk to there is an excitement level that comes with playing sports that is different from the regular workforce. So I think that showing emotions and having fun, that can only bring more energy and more fans to your game, which is something that MLB probably wants and needs to do on a consistent basis. And you're watching this World Baseball Classic, and you're seeing guys have fun. You're seeing the inner child. Like we would say, we're playing a kid's game for a king's ransom. That's kind of the mindset when you make it to a professional level. Like, you would play this game for free, but hell, they're going to pay you for it? Even better. So I think that just having the fun and having the excitement, it does nothing but bring more fans to whatever you're doing. Like, they want to see it and they want to be a part of it. So I enjoy it. I don't think that turning that away or shunning people. We were talking about it in the break. When Bryce Harper shows, it's like, oh, he's an idiot. Look at this jerk. He's a clown. Or when Ollie doesn't wear a jersey, well, why is it? He's ruining the game. Shut up. Man, he ain't even on the field. Why are baseball managers wearing uniforms anyway? I've never seen any of my NFL head coaches or assistant coaches dressed in a full uniform. I don't know why you get so mad about it. Baseball's the only sport. I've yet to see Jim Montgomery put on a Blue Note sweater and coach the game like that. It's so for you to get mad about certain things, it's just ridiculous. But it's that old-timey mindset that can keep baseball stagnant in where they are and not get fans drawn to a game that I love. I love the game of baseball when it's played the right way.
It is fascinating because you brought up the almost like the tradition aspect of baseball, yet the game itself on the field has changed from even when I grew up. It just feels different. The way that rosters are constructed is different. The amount of money that is in the game is different. But, you know, and people, are, I guess, are okay with that. I would say probably a lot aren't okay with that, with how things are going on the field in terms of the 3 true outcomes and, you know, the Dodgers and whoever else, all those big market teams that are just paying all these superstars. But there's a lot of people that necessarily aren't so fond of the showmanship, you know, the bat flips and whatnot, which I don't mind.
If you hit a home run in a crucial or critical moment, and this pitcher has been throwing his best stuff, and you smoke one, you telling me I can't get excited? Because if the pitcher strikes me out in that moment, he's going to get excited. But this notion that you can't show anybody up, it's sports. It's competition. I got the best of you. Now, next time I face you, get the best of me. Shut me up if you don't want me to have excitement or joy. But the notion that I got to control all of these emotions when I just hit one of the biggest hits of my life or in this moment, in this season, and now I just got to trot around the bases and not look at anybody, head down. That's not what sports are. Sports are where you're allowed to show emotion. You're allowed to express those emotions loudly and proudly as possible. But for whatever reason in baseball, they tell you, no, that's bad, Andrew Marsh. Don't you do that. Do not have fun playing this game. Okay, I'll be boring. And nobody wants to watch that.
How do you see tonight's game going?
I am hopeful that USA can continue to do what they've done thus far. I think, we got past the whole finding a way to get in situation that was kind of the sticking point last game. Obviously, you got that called strike that most people are still talking about. But today, if you go out and handle your business, go out and have fun, let the energy be a part of what you're doing, I expect to win.
I think it's going to be a great game. I think Venezuela, they have a great lineup. Obviously, the United States has a great lineup. I'm interested to see how these starting pitchers fare because if you look at how they've done in this tournament, Nolan McClain, I mentioned it yesterday. ERA. 9 ERA, and then you have Eduardo Rodriguez.
He got 10.13.
Yeah, exactly. So we could see a lot of runs early in this game. I actually hope that we see a lot of runs because I like when runners are crossing home plate. I think it's fun, especially in this type of environment because you want the fans engaged and whatnot. So I'm excited about tonight's game. Hopefully the United States can win because obviously the last time they were in this situation when they faced off against Japan, they lost, but we did get that iconic moment. Hopefully tonight we get an iconic moment as well.
It didn't go well last time for the old US of A with Shohei striking out. I think he struck out Mike Trout to end the game, got Mookie Betts out as well. But hopefully this time around it's a little bit better for USA and we can come home with the dub. That's Andrew Marsh. I'm Carey Davis. Coming up next, we have our good friend of the show, former Cardinal pitcher Kyle Gibson, joining us to talk about maybe some World Baseball Classic, talk about some things going on with Big League Impact and the view of the Cardinals as it is right now. We'll talk to Kyle Gibson when we return on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. We are off early today at 5:30 because we have two matchups in the first four, UMBC and Howard. Pregame starts at 5:30. Tip-off is at 5:40. And then following that game, Texas and North Carolina State with the tip-off at 8:15. Coming up next, we will be joined by former Cardinal pitcher Kyle Gibson, also host of Cardinal Territory. We'll talk with Gibby next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane. I'm Carey Davis, joined by Andrew Marsh, and we go to the Collier and Thompson phone line to talk to our good friend, former Cardinal starting pitcher and co-host of Cardinal Territory, Kyle Gibson. Kyle, how you doing, brother? Good to talk to you.
Carey, I'm doing good. Good talking to you too, man. How's everything going today?
Everything is going well. We were just having a great conversation about the World Baseball Classic and how much excitement there is in baseball during those times. And my question to you is, why don't they have that much fun during the regular season?
I think guys do. I mean, I think you're looking at a playoff atmosphere, right? You're really looking at, the 5x4. You're looking at 20 teams, and they're really all playing in an ALCS, and are in NLCS. And I think if you look at those teams that are in that ALCS every year, you're seeing a lot more emotion. You're seeing a lot more fire. Everything hangs on one pitch. So it's just playoff baseball, except it's a little different because you're playing with maybe people that you grew up playing with. You're playing with buddies that are representing your country, and representing home really means something. And I think everybody can relate to that. Now,
Kyle, you were a starting pitcher for 13 years in the majors, and I often see or hear about not wanting to be shown up if a player, a guy hits a home run or hits a big shot. Were you a guy that if you're on the mound, you got really pissed off if somebody showed you up if they did something really spectacular at the plate?
Of course. I never want to give up a homer. And, I mean, of course, you throw a bad pitch already. So normally when the ball's halfway to the plate, you're hoping the guy doesn't swing. And then all of a sudden he does and hits it. And as soon as he hits it for the most part that it's hit really well. And then when he admires it, you're just you're already mad about the whole situation. Now, I don't know that I ever actually hit anybody because of it. But was I under my breath saying to myself very negative comments about that person every single time.
Well, Kyle, once the WBC wraps up, we turn our sights to Major League Baseball's regular season. When it comes to the Cardinals, I feel like the fan base is kind of in this realm of, well, I know the team probably won't be as competitive as we hope, but maybe there is some excitement with some of the younger players. What is your expectation for this 2026 season for the Redbirds?
I was just asked today a little bit about it, and I expect them to be much closer than 500 than a lot of people probably. And I think mainly because I think they're going to have a very good defense, and I think they're going to have good pitching. Mm-hmm. I think their bullpen is a strength. I think their starting rotation on paper is really shaping up well. And I think they're going to throw the ball really well as long as, the guys that are supposed to take steps forward are taking steps forward. And then, a guy like Dustin May comes in and throws the ball well, like everybody expects him to. So pitching and defense keep you in every ball game when they show up. And then, if you have some offensive outbursts, you're going to win some games you shouldn't. And because of a bullpen, you're going to steal some games you shouldn't. And I just think that those two things really match up for a pretty consistent season that really gives the team a chance to take off. If a guy like J.J. Weatherholt really comes into form, a guy like Burley takes another step forward, Ivan Herrera keeps doing what he's doing, there's a lot of recipes and some making for some success here if it comes together.
Kyle, I think you hit the nail on the head. We have often talked about, the hitting and the lineup and who's going to be batting where and what they're going to do. But I believe the starting pitching is something that you should take a look at. And if they are performing really well, Dustin May is a guy I think that a lot of people are excited to see because he's dealt with a number of injuries over his last couple of years and finally healthy. It seems as though that's what he is this year. What do you expect out of him? And then some guys like Liberatore and Palante.
I mean, Dustin May has ace stuff. You know, he's got the upper 90s heater. He's got a breaking ball off of it. He's got a little bit of a funky delivery, long extension, makes it even harder. You know, I'm a little partial. He's got red hair. You know, I got a little bit of red hair mixed in as well. And, you know, he just has nasty stuff, man. And not that the game is all about stuff. It's not. You know, there's pitching involved too. But the stuff gives you a little bit more room for error. And I think the Cardinals and Dusty Blake and that coaching staff really expects him to be the one that every 5 days is putting up a lot of zeros early. And, you know, you're going to win a lot of the starts that he makes this year. And if they do, I think that's, you know, once again, a big reason why I believe they're a 500 or better team and have a chance to push for a wild card spot.
Kyle, we haven't talked to you since Ali Marmol received his extension. And we have a lot of people on our text line that are very split when it comes to Ali Marmol. But for you, what is a strength of his? For me, I think that he does a really good job at managing his pitching staff. For you, what is that strength that Ali Marmol has that maybe some people don't see?
I think one thing that doesn't show up necessarily, because I agree. I think he manages the pitching staff well. I think he manages the game situations well. I think his relationship with not only his staff but his players makes a big difference. And I know that sounds, you know, kind of, you know, maybe trivial or maybe it doesn't matter. But when you're dealing with a lot of young guys, it definitely matters. You know, young guys sometimes tend to have a little bit of a mindset of if I make a mistake, you know, how's Ollie going to look at me? If I do something, you know, just a little bit off, how's Ollie going to talk to me the next day? And that's just not how he is. And I think that makes a big difference when you got a group of young guys who are trying to get comfortable with the big leagues. And, you know, I think it's a big strength of his. And then he also relates to the veterans really well, you know, and once again, it seems simple, but, you know, there's a different level of communication that comes with veterans. There's a different level of expectation that comes with veterans. And sometimes, you know, those personalities can be a little bit stronger. Some of those personalities might be a little bit harder to deal with at times, just depending on the player. And I think he does a really good job of handling the 26 personalities that are in the locker room, because everybody's from a little different background. Everybody has a little different history in the game.
We're talking with former Cardinal starting pitcher and co-host of Cardinal Territory, Kyle Gibson. And Kyle, you were here in 2024, and we started off our show talking about Jordan Walker, who was a teammate of yours, and just kind of the struggles that he's gone through, you know, thus far throughout his entire career. And it really started off well, but it's kind of taken a different turn over the last couple of years. What can you tell us about not just him specifically, but being a young player and being a young hitter in this game? How difficult is it to really find your way in this game?
Well, hitting, very different from pitching. And I know that's obvious, but a pitcher can make an adjustment and take it to a game nearly immediately. A hitter can make an adjustment, and, you know, it might take 3 weeks for that adjustment to feel good. And especially when you're trying to work through struggles, you know, all of a sudden making a swing change, you know, like I saw a report where he's, you know, he wasn't in the last few games of spring training, you know, trying to work in the lab and work on a swing change. Well, you know, that might sound something like, well, just get him in a game and see how it works. But it's just not like that. I mean, when you make a swing change and you're working on something, excuse me, timing associated with that is incredibly difficult. And I just don't think that can be, you know, stated enough as, you know, when you move your hands, when you adjust your load, the timing is difficult. A pitcher, my delivery is going to stay the same. I added a cutter in a month and a half before 2021, and it changed how I got lefties out. I mean, it just was like, you know, doing something like that is easy. I changed my slider from a sweeper in a week and a half span at the end of 2022, and I never threw my slider again. You know, I mean, it was just like, you can do so many things as a pitcher that's different, and as a hitter, it takes time.
Kyle, I'm going to shift topics a little bit. We're heading into March Madness. I know you're a proud Mizzou Tiger alum, and you're looking forward to March Madness, but you all got something going on with Big League Impact for March Madness as well, don't you?
Yeah, I'm really excited about March Madness. The Tigers sneaked in, which I think down the stretch they really could have. They could have helped themselves, obviously, with a couple wins, a win at Oklahoma and another one in the tournament. They didn't get it. But I think that I'm excited about it. Purdue's a good team. Miami's a good team, but I'm hoping they can get a win or two and see what happens. But at Big League Impact, things have obviously changed a little bit with Adam and I not playing. But one thing we're doing this year for the first time is a March Madness bracket challenge. And the grand prize is a meet and greet with one of our 9 players that are playing. So we've got 9 big league guys playing this year. And the grand prize winner is going to get a pick that whichever player they want. And then they can meet that player at whatever stadium that player plays at.
Wow.
So if you want to go to Fenway Park and meet Tommy Edman in Fenway Park, you can do that. So it's going to be a really cool grand prize. Lots of prizes also going out for top point scorer in the first round, a second and third place prize also. So it's going to be a lot of prizes given away, and all the money that's raised is going to go to some of the different initiatives that Big League Impact does throughout the year, Mission 318 and a couple others. So it's going to be a really fun time, and I hope everybody can go to bigleagueimpact.org/March Madness and check it out. $15 for the first bracket, 2 brackets for $25, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
That sounds awesome. Now, Kyle, when it comes to filling out your bracket, what is your philosophy? Are you looking at the matchups and you genuinely think this team is going to beat this team? Are you doing the whole mascot thing? What is your philosophy when it comes to filling out your bracket?
So I normally, when we do multiple, I normally try to give my kids a chance to do one of them. March Madness was one of my favorite parts about Major League Baseball spring training, and it crushes me not to be involved with it anymore. I might have to contact one of my former teams and just get a little bit of March Madness juice in one of their brackets just for fun. I don't know if they'll let me in or not, but I normally did a few brackets. One of them I let the kids do. And obviously they don't have, too much knowledge. They normally just go by seed. Another one I'll fill out without looking at certain rankings, just kind of going off what I've watched throughout the year. And then I normally look at KenPom, and then I'll fill a bracket out with, leaning heavily on KenPom just to see how it goes. And then I actually have a good friend here in Washington that has done a ton of research and very stat-based. And then he sends me some of his data, and I'll fill a bracket based out on that just to see how it does. But I really enjoy the March Madness side. It's going to be fun. I'm trying to find a way to get to a couple of these games at the Enterprise Center, see if I can take some of the kids down there and watch Mizzou play. And I grew up a Kentucky fan, so this is like a Gibson family dream right now with Kentucky and Missouri being in town for the same March Madness.
Now, you're from Indiana, right? You weren't a Hoosiers fan?
No. Some bad language you're using. No, we're not doing that. Now, my dad was born in Hazard, Kentucky.
Okay.
And I lived next door to my mom's dad, who was a diehard Indiana fan my entire life. Mm-hmm. So our basement was painted half blue, half white. My grandpa was a diehard Hoosiers fan, and we had a lot of fun going back and forth there when Bobby Knight and Rick Pitino and Tubby Smith and those guys had both teams going. So, but no, I was a Kentucky fan through and through. I wanted to play baseball there, honestly. I told him, hey, I want to play here, and then never heard from him again. Wow. So I don't think it was meant to be. But
they're lost.
Man, I'm a big Wildcats fan. Let's not talk about the Hoosiers anymore.
Well, at least football season's over. We can focus on basketball now. You mentioned that you have a different, just different ways to fill out your bracket. But who do you have winning the tournament? Do you have a certain winner winning multiple brackets of yours?
I'm gonna be completely honest. Haven't filled it out yet. Haven't sat down and looked at it. I don't normally do the first 4, so I'm not as worried about that. I don't know. I don't like to be chalky, but I feel like the best 8 teams in the country are kind of stand out right now. I think they're I'm not going to say they're going to fill out the Elite Eight, but I mean, I just don't think there's going to be as many surprises with those 1s and 2s. I think the least consistent one in my mind could be Florida. So I could see them maybe going cold one game and getting knocked off. I know there's some health issues with a couple teams too, but as much as it hurts me to say, my agent was an Arizona alum, and I hear every time Arizona wins, I hear about Arizona. They're really good. So I'm probably going to put Arizona in there, and I think there's going to be a 2 seed probably face them. I don't know if 2 1s are going to make that Final Four and push them for the championship. So I'd say Arizona and somebody. But part of these stats that my buddy tells me is a team west of Texas, I don't think has won the championship since Arizona in 1997.
I did see
you guys
that.
just take that into account when you're filling out your bracket.
I did see that.
Well, Kyle, we appreciate you joining us. If anybody wants to get involved with Big League Impact for the March Madness tournament, they can go to bigleagueimpact.org. And Kyle told you can sign up and get registered. And hopefully, fine, if you win, you can get up with one of your favorite players that are working with Big League Impact. Kyle, thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to having you back on. Hopefully, Anthony is here. I think you scared him off for the week. So hopefully next time when you're back, he'll be here as well.
You know, he probably would have had something to say about March Madness, and I'd had to go and look at the 10-tom rankings and really kind of give him some of these stats I have, and it would have been near as good. So we'll get back out there next time and have a little banter. But appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you for letting me plug that charity event, and you guys have fun with March Madness this year too.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
See you guys.
That was Kyle Gibson, former starting Cardinals pitcher and co-host of Cardinal Territory, joining us. And I mean, I love having Kyle on. He's hilarious. He's a good dude to be on with us, and always has some great information. So, like I said, if you have some information, if you want to get involved with Big League Impact, go to bigleagueimpact.org and get started. So, Marshy, what we got? We got what's trending.
Yeah,
we gonna talk. We got what's trending. We're gonna talk
some ball.
Yeah, we can talk some real ball coming up next on 101 ESPN.
sports in the sports world.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
Here's what's trending.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Carey Davis. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it is time for What's Trending. We alluded to it in the previous segment. We're going to talk some ball. That's right, basketball, not college basketball. I know everyone's excited for this one. We're going to talk about the association, Carey. And the association, the NBA, could be expanding. And now I know you have a few notes on the expansion and whether or not it is a good idea for the NBA to add 2 more teams.
Well, there are votes that are happening, I believe, next week or in the next coming weeks for the NBA to expand 2 more teams, potentially going to Seattle and Las Vegas. Obviously, Seattle lost their franchise, the Supersonics. They lost them, and so now potentially heading back to Seattle and heading to Vegas. Seems like all sports teams want to be in Vegas. I was listening to this, and I was listening to Draymond Green. He had a thought on it, and he wasn't really a fan of the expansion. He in his mind and his thoughts were, we already have kind of a diluted league, a watered down league. There aren't enough players on current NBA rosters to have 30 more players, essentially 15 players per team on those 2 expansion teams. And I think he believes that the product will become more watered down because your player pool is going to come from current teams, obviously, and then draft picks or whatever. But having 30 players for those teams, he just didn't believe that that would be enough to make those expansion franchises, worthwhile.
So I lean towards agreeing with him in the sense that maybe not so much in terms of the players themselves and the talent, because I do believe that there is a ton of talent out there. Certain guys just don't get the opportunity to play. Correct. However, the way that the game is being played right now, I don't know if adding 2 more teams is good for the NBA. With just like some team, like the Wizards are awful. Yeah. They're not even trying to play. Yeah. They're not playing defense and not doing anything they need to do in order to stop Bam Adebayo from scoring 83 points.
Bam was hot.
He was hot, but I don't know if he is one of those guys that I thought that could ultimately score 80-plus points. Right. I don't know if this is great in terms of just like the viewing product. I'm sure it is a very good thing financially for the NBA.
I'm sure it is.
So that's probably why they
a lot of money being changing hands for those 2 franchises to be included in the NBA. I kind of agree with you. I think it's 2 parts. I think part of it is, yes, there are more opportunities for more players, and you can get some guys that maybe are the 12th, 13th, 14th guy on the roster that aren't getting those opportunities to play those minutes. I truly believe, I know this for a fact, the 15th man on an NBA bench is one of the best basketball players you've ever seen in your life. Like in person, like if you were to watch that man play basketball, he's really, really good. So, but there are players that are better and get more opportunities to get more minutes. So it's all about getting the opportunity. And if the opportunity were to arise because you had a couple of extra franchises needing players, then maybe those players get that opportunity. And that's kind of similar to what Kendrick Perkins was saying. He actually disagreed with Draymond, saying that, with the way that college basketball is set up, the way that overseas players are continuing to flood into the league. Right. There are basketball players that may not be in the league right now, but will be in the next 2 to 5 years that are really, really good basketball players, and they're going to need a landing spot as well. So I think that expansion is always good. I think it just grows the game more. The other concern that I would have is, man, the NBA got to do something about the load management. I hate watching basketball games where the best players don't play. And you can call me old school. You can say, that's a different type of mindset. The players now, you're getting paid more money and you play less games. Like, to me, that's backwards. Right. The more money you're getting paid, you should be playing in those games, unless you're physically unable to go. Right. And we often talk about Allen Iverson and the practice conversation. What he was trying to say is, I might not practice every day, man, but damn it, I'm playing in every game. Right. I'm playing in all 82 if my body will allow me to do that. And maybe I ain't going to be at practice because my body hurts so bad. But damn it, I'm playing. And that mindset just has not carried over to the players of today's generation, and I hate it. I hate it for NBA fans. I hate it for NBA players that do want to play, and I just hate it for the NBA game as a whole.
Well,
Jamie,
yeah. I know that it irks you because, and I think this is a culture thing, in football, I mean, you would do whatever possible. Your arm could be falling off, but you're going to be out there blocking, a 200 to 300 pound player.
Yes.
Like, your arm is hanging off.
I literally, at one point, I told you we were playing, I think it was the Browns or Cincinnati. I didn't feel my whole right side. And I'm like, I probably should go to the sideline. Nah, I'm going to stay right here. I don't want to miss. I want to be involved. I want to be a part. I don't want to take time off. I don't want to miss a rep. I want to play every snap. I want to play every game. I want to be a part of the reason why we won this game. I want to be a part of the reason why we win this championship. I don't want any days off when I'm playing a kid's game for a king's ransom. I want to play the game.
Right.
So for NBA players to take as much time off, it drives me crazy, man.
Do you think, and this one doesn't have anything to do with NBA expansion, but I know Kendrick Perkins said something about overseas players. Do you think, at least in the modern game, that overseas players have kept the NBA afloat with their talent?
I think, I forgot the numbers, but I can't remember. I think the last, 10 MVPs have been, international players or something like that, but it has changed the game drastically. Like, it has, some of the best players are Giannis, Victor Wembanyama, SGA, Jokic, like Luka. Like, all of these guys are some of the best players in the world, and those are the names that you know.
That's just wild to me, considering that, basketball isn't, I don't think it's the number one sport in Europe by any means. It is here,
soccer,
though.
I'm sure.
Soccer, of course. I just wonder why that is in the modern game of the NBA.
I don't know, but it's interesting to watch, and I do think that they have been very dominant in some of the last 7 years. So Giannis, Jokic, Embiid, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander have been the ones that have won the MVP. So, it's really fun to watch. So I hope that, again, the NBA does put more emphasis on just play the game, man. Just have fun. Just do the right thing.
Yeah.
That's Andrew Marsh. I'm Kerry Davis. Coming up next, we got some NFL 4 downs, some moving and shaking in the NFL today. We'll talk about it next on The Fast Lane. Welcome back to the Fast Lane with Andrew Marsh. I'm Carey Davis, and we have NFL 4 downs.
First down.
All right, so we had a trade happen in the NFL today. Jalen Waddle traded to the Denver Broncos. The Dolphins receive the first-round pick from Denver, which is number 30 in this year's draft. Carey, for you, who won this trade?
I mean, I have no clue what the Dolphins are doing. They moved on from Tyreek Hill. They obviously just traded Jalen Waddle. They signed Malik Willis a couple of weeks ago or last week. Who the hell is he throwing the ball to?
I'm wondering the same thing. It feels like they went forward and then took a step back.
I don't know who he's throwing the ball to, but I think this is a good trade for the Denver Broncos. I think Jalen Waddle is a really good number 2 receiver. He's a really good number 2 with Tyreek Hill. Him and Cortland Sutton being there as 1 and 2, the number 1 and 2 receivers for the Denver Broncos. And then Pat Bryant, a rookie from last year, did a really good job. I think they're trending in the right direction. I still think the Broncos, for me, I would hope that they get better in the run game. I didn't think they were good running the football at all last year. R.J. Harvey and I know J.K. Dobbins was injured, but I think he's back on the contract. But they got to be able to run the ball. But I do think that the Denver Broncos actually won this trade. That to me, I have no clue what the Dolphins are going to do. Now they have 2 first-round picks. I think it's 5 teams with 2 first-round picks in this upcoming draft. The Dolphins are one of them. But I had no clue. When I saw that, I was a bit, taken aback because, what the hell are you doing? Why would you sign Malik and then go out and trade, your top target at this point?
The only thing I could think of is they know that they're not going to be able to compete this upcoming season despite having Malik Willis as their quarterback. So maybe they try and re-bolster their roster in other areas.
Get younger.
And then maybe next year or the year after that, when they feel like, okay, we're ready to get back into the conversation, we go and sign a big-time receiver. Maybe we can draft one in this year's draft. That's the only thing I can think of to make sure that other positions on their roster are ready to go by the time they feel like they're ready to go.
Right.
That's the only thing I can think of.
That would be one of the best ways to go about it, is kind of just restructuring everything that you have been doing, and hopefully you figure out a way to do it better going forward.
Now, do you think Devon Achane is?
I think he's on the chopping block as well. Not in terms of being traded, not being cut, but if you're moving in that direction, you could potentially be looking at, a completely revamped offense.
Right.
New look. Everyone there, especially the skill positions, are new people. You got a new offensive coordinator, new head coach, so you probably may be looking to clean house. Devon Achane is a hell of a football player.
Yeah, he is.
And if you were to trade him, I'm sure there would be plenty of suitors looking for his services because he can play some football, and maybe the Dolphins are trending or heading in that direction.
Who knows?
Second down.
Well, one team that has been awful for a long time is the New York Jets. Mock drafts now have Ty Simpson going to the Jets at 16. For you, is he the second best quarterback in this draft? And is that a reach for the Jets?
I think he is the second best quarterback. There have been, Ty Simpson's draft status has been all over the board, literally. Like, he's been as high as, I think number 2 or 3, and as low as second round, potentially third round, depending on who's drafting where and what's available. So looking at where it stands right now, the Jets have 2 picks. They have the number 2 overall pick, and then they would have, I think, the number 16 pick. Obviously, you're probably going to try to take the best player available at that number 2 pick, assuming that Fernando Mendoza is gone, because I think most people believe he will be drafted by the Raiders with that first overall pick. And if you have a second pick, for me, if you're the Jets, you probably need so many things to be a better team than you are right now. And is a quarterback is Ty Simpson the quarterback that is going to get you over the hump, or is it again drafting like a Zach Wilson? Is it just getting a guy because you feel like you need a guy as opposed to getting the best players available? I have no clue. I don't know what they would be doing. I mean, they have Geno Smith there. They traded for him last week, so you're set at quarterback for the most part. And I think Geno is probably a good quarterback to have on your roster to kind of go through whatever the hell it is you're trying to go through at this moment if you're the Jets. If I'm the Jets, I'm taking the best player available.
I agree, especially with the quarterback class that is supposed to come out next season.
Correct.
I would have to believe that the Jets think that they'll probably be picking in that area in the top 10 again, unless they're insane and think they're going to have a good football team this year, which the track record would say otherwise.
Yeah, probably
So
not.
I personally would look to next year's draft to find that quarterback. I don't know if Ty Simpson is that guy. At the same time, the Jets have built, at least in the past, I'd say a pretty good defense.
Yeah.
But the one person they were missing was the quarterback. And maybe if they believe that Ty Simpson is that guy, they go after him.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
We'll see what they do. You
He
cannot
could work somewhere else, just not there.
You can never. I don't think you ever really know what the Jets are doing. The Jets and the Browns, kind of the similar mindsets.
Yeah.
You don't know what to expect, so you have no clue. I don't know that they do half the time.
No, we gotta see what his Madden rating is before we can make the pick.
Correct.
They'll look at his college football rating.
Third down.
All right, A.J. Brown, another wide receiver. News is heating up surrounding A.J. Brown. Where's the best fit for Brown next year?
So there have been a lot of conversations about him going to the New England Patriots and reuniting with his former coach in Tennessee and Mike Vrabel. I think Mike Vrabel has a high level of respect for A.J. and what he's capable of doing. The Eagles just signed Hollywood Brown as well as another receiver. I don't know if that means much in terms of what they would be doing with A.J. Brown, but where there's smoke, there's fire. I often say that because I think a lot of people are believing that A.J. Brown could potentially be on the move. So, I'd be intrigued to see what they get back for an A.J. Brown caliber of a player. I think it's a first-round pick. If you're getting a first-round pick for Jalen Waddle, you're getting a first-round pick for A.J. Brown.
Oh,
and plus.
By the way, do you think Jalen Waddle is a first round?
I was surprised.
Like,
I was surprised.
even though it's number 30?
I was surprised.
Okay.
I understand that it's toward the back end of the draft, but I was surprised that he warranted a first round pick. So I would assume that the Patriots would, if the Patriots are going in that direction of trading for A.J. Brown, they're looking at giving up a first round pick as well. I don't think the Eagles make that move without any real draft compensation coming back that is going to help there. And Howie Roseman does a fantastic job in the draft.
Oh, yeah.
If he's trading A.J. Brown, he's probably already kind of figured out how the draft is going to plan out and map out and has a receiver or some type of replacement for the production that they felt that they were getting from A.J. Brown.
Fourth down.
All right, last one here. Does the Mike Evans and Christian Kirk signings move the needle for the 49ers in the NFC West? So Christian Kirk, who was with Houston at the end of last season, is now a San Francisco 49er.
I don't know that the Christian Kirk signing does. I am a huge fan of Mike Evans. I think he's the consummate professional. I think he does everything right. He plays his butt off. He is a dog. I don't know where he is right now. I think he's 32 in terms of production. He missed some time last year with the collarbone injury and kind of getting banged up down there in Tampa, but he came back to play. Like he loves football, and so I think he's a hell of a football player. Christian Kirk, he hasn't done a lot since that one really good year in Jacksonville, and that was 2 or 3 years ago when he had a really outstanding season. And performed really well. These last few years down there this last year in Houston hasn't been, wasn't really as good as I thought it should have been.
Yeah, I feel like he's a very flashy player, especially, at least for me, I'm thinking in terms of fantasy football terms. He's a guy that would be a good waiver pickup if he is available for maybe a week or two or something like that. He can make stuff happen when he is on his game. But as a wide receiver too, I would assume that's what he would be.
I don't know what I think he's going to be. He's probably, you still got Ricky Pearsall there.
That's true.
You got Mike Evans now. Those are probably your 1 and 2s. Christian Kirk is a really good slot guy. He can do a lot of things and have an impact in the slot because he's a nightmare, a matchup nightmare for, that third cornerback or that safety, whoever they try to put over him. But I just would like to see the more production. Like the production he had his first year in Jacksonville was outstanding.
Right.
He signed that big deal. And then from that point on, the production has just kind of dwindled down year after year after year. So I'm going to be intrigued to see what he's capable of doing this year on a one-year deal in San Francisco.
Where do you think that they end up falling next year? Do you think they are third best team in the division once again?
That's a tough division.
It is a tough division.
That and I guess the NFC North and the NFC West are probably the two toughest divisions in football. And so I would I don't think Seattle's going to take a step back. I'm intrigued to see, what they do at the running back position with Kenneth Walker going to the Kansas City Chiefs. Is Charbonnet going to be your lead back? I think the Rams are poised to have another really big run in them, one last kind of splash and dive at it before Matthew Stafford gets out of here as a starting quarterback. So, I would have the 49ers at third right now in that division. So, we'll see how it goes. That's Andrew Marshall. I'm Carey Davis. Get your text in for the Sports Six-Pack Part 1. That is coming up next here on the Fast Lane. Sports Six-Pack coming up next.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
Refreshed by Urban Chestnut. Urban Chestnut Swickle Light Premium Light Beer. Live your lifestyle, St. Louis.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane. I'm Carey Davis, joined by Andrew Marsh, and we are in our sports six-pack. Marshy, go!
Question number 1.
All right, from the 314, what is the ideal outcome for the Blues this year?
Man, I mean, I think the ideal outcome would be to win the rest of your damn games and make it to the playoffs and win the first round and the second round and, you know, win the whole
Fast Lane
thing. Yeah. That would be ideal.
Yeah, it would.
Is that probable? I don't think so. But I think that would be really cool. A really good story. And it would be exciting. I was listening to, I think it was Dan Orlowski saying it earlier today. He was talking about tanking in sports. Mm-hmm. And I think it was Dan. Just saying that players and coaches never tank. Like, that's not, right. It's not in you. No one can come to a player and say, hey, man, I need you all to lose today. That's you should get away from me before I get really upset if you come talk to a player and you say that. Because that's not who we are innately. Like, we are competitive. We want to win everything. I mean, I might want to win walking down the hall. Right? I just because you walking a little, let me see if I can get there faster. Right. Like, I just want to win naturally. It's always there. So players don't ever think about tanking. Coaches don't think about tanking. Tanking generally comes from the front office. Hey, you're injured, or hey, you're not going to play today, or hey, I'm going to trade you and move on from you and do this and do that to make sure that the roster is, you know, the roster that is needed for us to get to where we want to get to. So ideally, man, win it all. Realistically, that's the hard part for me.
Yeah, I think if they were to make the playoffs, I almost feel like they have to win that first round to show the fan base we are progressing in sort of a linear form. Last year, you took the best team in the NHL to the brink, and they got, I'll call it, they got lucky. Yeah. They got lucky that they scored with less than a second to go to force it to overtime. But you almost beat that team. And then if they were to make the playoffs, once again, they'd play the best team in the NHL, which would be the Colorado Avalanche. I don't see the Blues getting a first wild card spot by any means. That's if they even do make the playoffs. So I feel like you would have to do that. You would have to upset the Avalanche. Otherwise, it feels like you're sort of stuck in neutral, like you just said. On the other side, it would be pretty sweet to get a top pick. Yeah. However, and Jamie's mentioned this multiple times, you have no idea what that player is going to be. You have no clue. That player could have, one good season and then fizzle out. That player could deal with injuries his entire career, and the next thing you know, he's retired. But that's happened before. If you're that bad of a team and you get that first overall pick, you probably don't have. I mean, it's worth taking that risk on the player. Like you're gonna take that player for sure. You're with the expectation that your team will be better. Yes. If it's not, you didn't lose anything. You're still terrible, right? So I just think that for me, I would like to see the Blues win. Like I would love to see it happen. Will it happen? I don't know. I think realistically, for me, if I had to choose, I'm not even going to choose one. For one scenario, let's say they're a playoff team. I don't see them beating the Avalanche. I just don't see it. Yeah. However, I would like them to make it a series and make the Avalanche, crawl into round 2. Yeah. If they don't make the playoffs, I would love for them to get a bottom, just bottom line top 4 pick at the very least, top 4. So it's tough. So either make the playoffs, right, or be one of the worst teams in the NHL. But you said it. I mean, that's the ideal scenario. Second year in a row where if you do win, if you do make it to the playoffs because you played so poorly
up until the point where it was time to actually scratch, claw, climb, and bite and do all those things to get into the playoffs. You're going to be playing the best team in the NHL for the second year in a row.
Right.
If you make it to that second wild card, and the expectation is you probably should lose to the best team in hockey.
Let me ask you this. What was your expectation for this team in terms of a playoff spot heading into the season? Was it a top 3 spot in the Central, or did you expect them to be a wild card team again?
I did not expect
based on the teams in the division.
I didn't expect them to be a wild card team. I thought that they would be probably what the Minnesota Wild are. Like that, like in that, like third in the Central, like right there, knocking at the door.
Bare minimum first wild card spot.
Bare minimum.
Which would be nice because you take on a very, I don't want to say bad, but not great Pacific Division in the first round.
I'd be okay with that, right? But I did not expect them to be where they are right now, in a similar position to where you were last year, where you had to go on an epic run, doing it 2 years in a row. 1 year is extremely improbable. 2 years is damn near impossible.
Right.
To get to that point where you make it to the second wild card for 2 years in a row.
Grant Francis Fan Club says, if they could make the playoffs, I'd be for it, even if they got swept. But playoffs aren't possible now, so get that pick.
I think that's where a lot of people are. But
yeah, it's tough.
We'll
I think that a lot of the games that they're about to play are very winnable, which could make things that much more interesting heading into April.
Yep.
And then some people are going to be in the camp of, well, you better win out because now you put yourself in a spot.
You put yourself close enough to do it.
Yeah.
So now you got to do it.
But you put yourself far enough to where like maybe you're not going to get a top 4 pick.
Yep.
So that was one question, Carey. I think we should roll over.
Yeah, we only got one again.
I know. Well, it's a great question.
It was a great question. We did have a lot of meat on that bone. We'll come back with part 2 of the Sports Six Pack when we return on the Fast Lane.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. Tonight we have some first four action for you. UMBC and Howard. Pregame starts at 5:30, so we are off early today. Tip-off will be at 5:40, and then following that game, Texas and North Carolina State with the tip-off at 8:15. Coming up next, we have part two of our Sports Six-Pack, so get your questions into the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. We will answer your questions next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
Refreshed by Urban Chestnut. Urban Chestnut Swickle Light Premium Light Beer. Live your lifestyle, St. Louis.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane with Andrew Marsh. I'm Carey Davis, and we are in the Sports Six-Pack. We only got one question.
We did,
in the first portion of it. Marshy, question two.
Question number two.
Interesting one here from the 618. How would the greatest show on turf, that offense, fare in today's NFL? Would the defenses now be able to slow them down more than they did?
I doubt it. I mean, you can't touch the passer, so life would be much easier for Kurt Warner. I think they might have more success than they did in 99 and in 2001, those years that they were the greatest show on turf. Those teams were outstanding. I mean, Hall of Famers, and obviously Torrey should be a Hall of Famer as well. But that team was spectacular. I think that they would have as much, if not more, success now than they did then, because it was just too many weapons on the field at all times.
Man, yeah, I wonder what that offense would like if you could compare that offense to one in today's
That's what
NFL.
I was trying to think of.
I wonder who would it be.
And initially, I initially thought the 49ers because of the comparison of Christian McCaffrey and Marshall Faulk. But who would be? I mean, Deebo Samuel, is that Torrey Holt? Like the not the 49ers from last year, but the year when Deebo and Christian and George Kittle, like. That team probably would be as comparable, but not really, because I think the Rams of the greatest show on turf were that much better than anything. Mm-hmm. And maybe you look at the Lions with what they have offensively.
Yeah,
with Jared Goff and when Jamison Williams and Mon-Ra St. Brown and Jahmyr Gibbs, like that is that's probably comparable as well.
I'm just trying to think what team has a future Hall of Fame running back, a future Hall of Fame wide receiver, should be a future Hall of Fame wide receiver too, and a future Hall of Fame. Did I say running back or quarterback? Basically, their entire offense.
I don't think there is one.
Offensive line just humming at all levels, and just future Hall of Famers stacked across the board. I don't know if there's a team in the NFL now that has that.
We get one from the 618 says the Bengals. Easy comparison, minus the running back. But I think that's to your point, though. Like you're not going to have an elite and a Hall of Fame left tackle. Let's not forget about Orlando Pace. Like Hall of Fame quarterback, Hall of Fame wide receiver 1, should be Hall of Fame receiver number 2, who has been a finalist a number of times. Hall of Fame running back. Like that offense was potent. It's hard to compare, in my opinion, any offense today to what they were able to do.
Yeah, that's I wonder, I don't know. It just goes to show how good that team was. And unfortunately, they only won one Super Bowl.
Yeah, unfortunately. Man, good team, good times.
Question number 3.
All right, from the 314, am I wrong, or do NBA players not talk as much trash anymore? I feel like they are soft. Pacers fan, love me some Reggie Miller.
Oh man, I don't think it's nearly as bad as it was. Like it was, I don't think it was hate, but it was so much that, it was competition. And I think guys now, And I think it all starts with like AAU basketball. A lot of these players play against one another. They know each other from years and years of growing up, and the best of the best play against each other for a number of years. Sometimes they play together, and so they don't have that I guess hatred for one another as they may have had years ago, because they know each other. They've grown up, and they probably play video games when they're on the road, and they do all of these things. So I think the communication is better now amongst the NBA players with how much they are around each other growing up. But I just don't think the competition level, like Anthony Edwards, in my opinion, is one of those guys. He'll tell you Kevin Durant is his favorite player, but I want to kill him every time I play him. Like I want to go after. I want him to go home and feel bad about how he played against me. Like that's the mindset of in my opinion, of great players. I want you to feel bad. I can be your friend after the game. We don't have to be buddy now. We can be friends after the game. But while we're playing and competing against one another, if only one can win, Marshy, it's gonna be me. I don't give a damn. And that has to be the mindset. But I don't think that they have that mindset, not collectively anymore.
Yeah, that's why I brought up a few months ago. I wonder if NBA players love being NBA players, but they don't love basketball as much as like the previous generation.
Yeah.
And the way that it's supposed to be played.
I can't say that for sure. I think I don't know if they love being NBA, but I don't know.
Well, okay, how about this? Obviously, you played in the NFL. Were there players that you played with who loved being NFL players, but they didn't really love the game of football?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course. Yes. Like there are more people. Like, you'd probably be surprised with how many people don't love the sport that they play.
They just play.
But they are so God-gifted, talented that what else would they do? Kind of thing. Like they just have talent. And they're capable of doing it, but maybe not, so in tune to it like, I eat, drink, sleep, breathe football. Nah, that's just what I do. And then I'm going to go find something else that I enjoy doing as well.
And if they did, they could be at the upper echelon of
some of them still
players.
Are. Some of them still
wild.
are.
That is wild to me. That's wild.
Yeah, some of them,
That's
guys
gotta be
like
that's gotta be so frustrating.
For me, I had to eat, sleep, drink, breathe.
Yeah.
Like every part of me had to be grinding, scratching, and clawing to prove that I deserve to be there every single day. And then there was guys just rolled out of bed and, man, you can just do that without that's easy for you, huh? That's a blessing.
Good for them.
Good for them. Good for them. Definitely good for them. I wish,
Man.
We got another one?
Yeah, let's keep going.
Question number 4.
All right, from 314, what NFL team has done the best job at putting themselves in a better position for next year?
I still think it's the Raiders. I mean, the trade for Max Crosby, didn't go through. But the things that they've done this offseason, I think they've done a fantastic job adding a center, adding a couple of linebackers, getting Max Crosby back. It's like making a trade or getting the trade revoked. Either way, I think they've done a fantastic job. And all of that said, with the expectation that they will take Fernando Mendoza, number 1 overall, will be an addition to what they've already done this offseason. Does that mean they're going to win the division? I don't know. I don't know if that means that team is going to be a top team in the division or a top team in the AFC. But I do think that they've done a good job of making their team better than they were last year.
For sure, they're going in the right direction.
They're headed in the right direction.
I'm going to be a little biased here. I think the Vikings have put themselves in a better situation. I don't know how things are actually going to go this upcoming season with Kyler Murray as the quarterback. It could look really good. It could blow up in their face. I have no idea. But that team, despite them being the butt of the joke last season in terms of quarterback play, they were right there record-wise of making a playoff spot and being the division winner outside of a few things, going wrong for them special teams-wise against the Bears. That team could have been a playoff team. So you just add a little bit better quarterback play. I think that team can take a significant jump. Will they be a playoff team? I don't know. I think Kyler Murray I think Kevin O'Connell has to get the most out of Kyler Murray. And if he can, that can be a team that can be scary within the NFC.
Marshy drinking the Kyler Kool-Aid, man. Look at you drinking that Kyler Kool-Aid.
I have to.
You drink that Kyler Kool-Aid as much as you want to. You're excited.
Carey, so this is my thought process. That team's not playing, right? So it's all speculation, expectations, hype, excitement, whatever buzzword you want to use. The Blues are playing, and they haven't played well for a full season. So that's very disappointing. The Cardinals, the regular season hasn't started. They are playing games. We don't know what to expect. The team is supposed to be bad because they've been bad. At least the Vikings were somewhat there with a not good quarterback. So if you add a good quarterback, perhaps things change. So I'm going to, for the time being, drink the Kyler Kool-Aid until week 3 when Kevin O'Connell, for whatever reason, puts him in a terrible spot to succeed. And then I get mad. And then Jamie thinks that I want to fire him. And we go around that carousel.
Oh, I wish you all the best, man. I wish the Vikings the best.
You probably feel the same way about the Steelers.
No question. I feel the exact same way. At least you got a quarterback. That
is true.
You know who your quarterback is. I have no clue.
Yeah, what are they going to do?
I don't know, man.
Hang on a second.
Question number 5.
What are the Steelers going to do at quarterback?
I have no clue.
What should they do?
They are probably going to re-sign Aaron Rodgers. That's probably, I think all roads are leading in that direction. He obviously knows Mike McCarthy. They were together in Green Bay. They have had success. He's had success under Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy has had great success with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. I don't know. I told you earlier that Ty Simpson was projected in a lot of mock drafts to be at number 21 when the Steelers were drafting and maybe go there. Now I see that he may be going earlier, and hell, you may not even want Ty Simpson. So, I would assume that they're waiting on Aaron Rodgers, man. That's the only answer I got for you, Marshy. I don't know if it's a good thing to do. I don't know if it's a bad thing to do. Mm-hmm. I have hope that with a different offensive mindset, in comparison to what I've witnessed over the last 4 or 5 years in Pittsburgh with Matt Canada and then Artie the Party Smith, like that offense made my eyes bleed from time to time. Just no explosive routes downfield, no taking nothing over the middle, just all unders, slants. Give me those crossing routes. It was hard to watch. But now, Mike McCarthy is a man that does do, if he does nothing else, offensively, his offenses show up. So if Aaron Rodgers is able to be that quarterback to do all of those things, they added Michael Pittman, they got DK. Hopefully he stays healthy and stays on the field the entire season. I'm excited about that, but I can't be excited yet because there's no news.
Right.
So I have no clue. So at least you have a quarterback to cheer for, and I'm just waiting, man.
Well, everybody on the text line, everybody in the snake pit saying Kyler is not good. There's a reason why Arizona dumped him. I understand that. I guess people forgot that J.J. McCarthy played football for the Vikings last season. Played 10 games. Now, he did have a winning record, just saying. However,
they should have ran it back.
Question number 6.
All right, final question here from the 801. Guys, what NHL team are you rooting for in this year's playoffs? And I'll even throw on there if the Blues are not obviously in the playoffs.
Which team am I? I'm not rooting for anybody, man. I don't care if the Blues ain't in. Marshy, all right.
I'll tell you who I won't be rooting for. I won't be rooting for the Avalanche. I won't be rooting for the Stars.
Why wouldn't you root for the Avs?
I won't be rooting for the Golden Knights. Obviously,
what
Leon
about the Wild? You would.
I think if they got to the Stanley Cup, I could get behind that just because I have a bunch of friends up there. And when the Blues were in the Stanley Cup, they were really happy for me when they won. So I feel like it'd be goodwill to give them that love back. However, they have to make it first, so we'll see how that goes. And if they don't, I'll make fun of all my friends. I actually might be rooting for the Buffalo Sabres.
Really?
Just for that fan base. I mean, they are a miserable fan base, and they finally have something to be excited about in terms of hockey. I could get behind Buffalo because I think it would be hilarious.
What about the Hurricanes?
No, I can't.
Rod Brind'Amour.
Nope.
You didn't like him as a player?
No, I didn't say that.
But so that's how I view it.
I don't like their team. I don't like why. I've never been a fan of watching the Hurricanes play hockey. I think they have the ugliest road uniform in the
We know you're a
NHL.
uniform
I'm
guy.
a huge uniform guy. I cannot get behind it. They keep changing it. I think it's stupid. I don't like their team. I hate that they're good every year, but then they fizzle out. And we talked about why that is with Jamie last week. I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him.
So Marsha doesn't want to see anybody win the Stanley Cup if it's not the Blues. That's what I got out of that.
That's fair.
Unless it's Buffalo.
I could get behind Buffalo. I think it'd be funny.
Since they never win.
I think it'd be hilarious. They missed the playoffs for, what was it, going on like 15 years or something like that.
And then win the Stanley Cup.
And they finally make it, but then they win the Stanley Cup in the first year that they make it.
That would be pretty awesome for the good people of Buffalo. That's Andrew Marsh. I'm Carey Davis. Coming up next, we have more Cardinals topics. Should the pitching be the focus of the Cardinals this year? We'll talk about that next on 101 ESPN.
I mean, Dustin May has ace stuff. You know, he's got the upper 90s heater. He's got a breaking ball off of it. He's got a little bit of a funky delivery, long extension, makes it even harder. I'm a little partial. He's got red hair. You know, I got a little bit of red hair mixed in as well. And, you know, he just has nasty stuff, man. And not that the game is all about stuff. It's not. You know, there's pitching involved too. But the stuff gives you a little bit more room for error. And I think the Cardinals and Dusty Blake and that coaching staff really expects him to be the one that every 5 days is putting up a lot of zeros early. And, you know, you're going to win a lot of the starts that he makes this year. And if they do, I think that's, you know, once again, a big reason why I believe they're a 500 or better team and have a chance to push for a wild card spot.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane. That voice you heard was Kyle Gibson, who was on with us earlier, former starting pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals, talking about Dustin May and his A-plus stuff. And Marshy, you know, in the office earlier, I brought this subject to you, this topic to you, thinking about, you know, we focus so much on the hitting, the lineup, who's going to hit where, and how well are they going to perform? Why is Baez down? What is J.J. Weatherholt going to do? What about Jordan Walker? What's up with his swing? And we haven't talked nearly as much about the starting pitching. And we had Kyle Gibson on earlier, and he broke it down to us. Like, if this team has any hopes or aspirations of being successful, it's going to be because of the starting pitching. And Dustin May is a perfect example to start with. Kyle broke it down. Filthy stuff, A-plus stuff. Has dealt with a number of injuries over the past couple of years. A freak injury last year with a piece of salad getting lodged in his throat. Like, there have been some rough years for this player, but this could be a bounce-back year for him, and I'm sure he's hoping that it is because he potentially could be a free agent after this year. He's got a mutual contract for the second year, which obviously that means one or the other party is going to want to move on from the contract and have an opportunity for him to get paid at a much higher rate going into 27 if he plays really well this year.
Do you think that we focus more on the positional players because they bring more questions to the table as opposed to the pitching staff? Or should we have the same type of questions for the pitching staff? Because for me, I think that the pitching staff last year was so bad that it can only go up from here. So I'm almost like not even concerned about the starting rotation because there's like an internal thing with me that I just believe that they are actually going to be good because maybe my expectations have been set so low for the rotation after what I witnessed last year and like Eric Fetty and how Miles Michaelis ended his career with the Cardinals. Maybe I just think, okay, things are actually going to be fine from their, you know, from them. My concern is, what is the offense going to look like? Maybe that's why we are focusing more so on those positional players, but maybe I'm wrong.
For me, I think that's why we should be questioning the starting rotation because you don't have some of those pitchers that were here last year. You moved on from Fetty. You moved on from Michaelis. You don't really know what a complete season of Michael McGreevy looks like. You don't know what a full season. You have an idea what Palante looked like. He started 31 games last year, but if you get that same version of him, are you excited or ecstatic? You're probably not. Kyle Leahy is another name that you're looking at and saying maybe there's something there. I think that there's potentially more upside than we've been giving to the starting pitchers that we haven't even spoke about. So for me, I'm looking forward to, and I know it's a small sample size, and this is, you can say, oh, they're not playing against whoever they're playing against in spring training. But right now, Palante's ERA is 2.5. He's got 11 strikeouts. Liberatore is 2.7 with 14 strikeouts. McGreevy is 2.7 with 11 strikeouts as well. So, and Dustin May, he's only pitched, I think, 6 1/3 or 6 2/3 innings, but he's only allowed 3 hits. And so for me, if you can repeat that success, and again, small sample size is not enough to really say that this is who they are, but we can only go off of what we've seen. We're going off of what we've seen with Jordan Walker, so we got to go off of what we're seeing from this pitching staff, from the starting pitching staff, and just hopefully assume that it is much greater than maybe any of us expected it to be.
When it comes to question marks, which of the pitchers in this rotation do you have the most questions about? Whether it is something like, well, I question if this player can have a bounce back year, or if it's, can this guy reach the level that we expect him to? I think of Matthew Liberatore in that aspect. But when it comes to Andre Palante, I'm wondering, can this guy bounce back and actually have a good season? I think there's different questions for each pitcher, but which one is more pressing for you?
I think it's Andre Palante. I think, he was second on the team in innings pitched last year, 31 starts. But again, a 5.3 ERA. Like, I think I think he's probably, what would you say, a 4 for this team?
Palante?
Right now, Dustin May would probably be your 1, Liberatore would be your 2. I don't know who the 3 is. If
I'd say McGreevy.
McGreevy. Where do you slot Leahy at? Because I think he's going to.
Yeah.
He's probably going to do some surprise some people as well. I would assume that he is. He got some stuff with him that runs up on you really fast. So I think he's as a guy that could potentially find his way into that 3 slot, which would put Palante at a 4.
Yeah, I think that 5th spot could be, kind of like a rotating thing throughout the year, depending on how players do. But I think those are the 4 guys that, especially if Palante can pitch the way he is right now, I think he definitely slots in as your 4.
Okay. I think that however it shakes out, if the starting rotation can give you, I hate the 5 and dive pitchers. I really don't even like the 6 innings. Give me 7 innings, man.
Can they eat innings?
Can they eat innings? And not just eat innings in terms of what we know from Cardinals pitching in the past. Eat innings and be effective while eating said innings.
I'll say this: if this rotation can keep the team in the game, we're not giving up 3 runs in the first inning. If this team can make each and every game competitive up until a certain point, then I think I'm happy with that. Just keep games close. Just keep them close. Don't let those crooked numbers happen, multiple times throughout a game, which is something that we've seen in the past.
We have seen that in the past. I'm with you there, brother. That's Andrew Marsh. I'm Carey Davis. Coming up, we have a returning Gauntlet contestant. See if he can take down me today in the Gauntlet. That's next on 101 ESPN. Right now, FanDuel is dropping bonus bets into everyone's account for the tournament. All you have to do is opt in to claim your bonus. Use them on the bracket picks, money lines, spreads, totals, game props, or even same game parlays. But don't wait. These bonus bets are only available for a limited time. And I told you all, my Illini in the South taking on Penn in the first round. I'm excited about this Illini team. I know they've struggled, and they struggled in the Big Ten tournament and didn't finish well, but I have ultimate faith in them, and I would choose them on the money line in that first pick. And also, you got SLU. SLU has done a great job. They're going against Georgia in that first round matchup. Maybe you want to take them on the total for how many points will be scored. Whatever you want to do, you can do that at FanDuel. Just visit FanDuel.com/local to learn more. That's FanDuel.com/local. Must be 21 plus and present in Missouri. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Max bonus $500 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
4 categories, 1 challenger. Can you survive the Gauntlet?
Brought to you by Blue Note Roofing. Roofing, siding, and gutters. Visit BlueNoteRoofingSTL.com for a free inspection.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane. I'm Carey Davis, joined by Andrew Marsh, and we have the Gauntlet, and we have a returning Gauntlet contestant. Andrew, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Long-time listener, second-time caller. Happy to be here.
Glad to have you back. You beat Andrew Marsh yesterday, and I'm the only one here, so I guess you're taking me on today.
Sounds good. I'm looking for anything outside of Virginia Tech football and Mountain West football.
All right, well, Marshy's going to spin that wheel. I'm going to head out to the Cone of Silence. You all got it. Good luck, Andrew.
Thank you.
So I'm by myself, so I guess I'm the only one. Unless you want to join me, Andrew, we can say Carey Davis together. All right, 3, 2, 1. Carey Davis. All right. You know the drill. Tell me to spin that wheel, and we'll find out which category you get today.
Marshy, spin that wheel.
All right, so we are hoping for no Virginia Tech football. We'll see.
And no whammies.
No whammies today. No whammies, no whammies, no whammies. All right. It is football today. You have football again.
Oh, all right.
So, for those that don't know, Carey and Andrew will each get 4 questions, the same 4 questions. If you get that question right without using the options, you get 2 points. If you have to use the options and you get it correct, you get 1. And, of course, if you get it wrong, you get 0. Are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right. Question number 1. This 6-time Pro Bowl selection at defensive tackle had 50 sacks over 5 seasons in New Orleans, as well as 12 in 3 seasons in St. Louis. Name him.
I'd like the options.
Options are Leroy Glover, Robert Quinn, or Anthony Hargrove.
Give me the glove.
Final answer?
Yes.
All right. Question number 2. Identify the organization that in 2006 made former Ram Adam Archuleta the highest paid safety in NFL history at that time.
I think it was the Giants. A little bit before my time, but I'm going to go Giants. Final answer.
All righty. Question number 3. What college did legendary quarterback Dan Marino attend?
Dan Marino. Give me the options.
Options are UCLA, Tulane, or Pitt.
UCLA.
Final answer?
Final answer.
And question number 4. TCU and North Carolina will play their 2026 opener in Ireland. How many wins did the Tar Heels record in their first season under head coach Bill Belichick?
Oh, it was abysmal. 4?
Is that your final
4.
answer?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Let's get Carey back in here. No Virginia Tech questions. We did get a UNC question today. How are you feeling, Andrew?
Absolutely terrible.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how Carey does today.
I just thought about this. Who are you gonna ask for the? You have no one to ask.
Well, I might have to ask, so I'm going to ask myself.
Okay.
And I'm going to have to pause for a second, act like there's 2 of me in here, and I'll just bounce back. It's like I'm talking to myself. You ever talk to yourself?
Often, yeah.
I do it all the time.
Yeah,
sometimes
often.
I feel like a psychopath, but sometimes you have to talk to yourself.
Sometimes you do. Yeah.
All right, you ready, Carey?
I'm ready.
All right.
You didn't tell me pack a lunch, see?
Well, I haven't even told you the category yet.
I'm just saying, you got to do it all by yourself, so.
I do.
You want me to tell myself pack a lunch?
No, I'll tell you.
Okay.
Football is your category. Now pack a lunch.
Okay, thank you.
All right, here we go. Question number 1. This 6-time Pro Bowl selection at defensive tackle had 50 sacks over 5 seasons in New Orleans, as well as 12 in 3 seasons in St. Louis. Name him.
6 years in New Orleans, and how many years in St. Louis?
So 5 seasons in New Orleans.
Okay.
3 seasons in St. Louis.
3 seasons. Oh, I have no clue who that is. Was he in St. Louis first? Would be a good question. I wish I knew the order of where he was. You know, give me the options.
Options are Leroy Glover, Robert Quinn, Anthony Hargrove.
Leroy Glover, final answer.
Question number 2. Identify the organization that in 2006 made former Ram Adam Archuleta the highest paid safety in NFL history at that time.
In 2006, where did he go? Arch was drafted here. Was it the Cardinals? I think it was the Cardinals. I think he was at Arizona State. I felt like it was... Oh, I should take the options. I'm going to be mad if the Cardinals are on there, though. 2000... It's not... Oh, it's not the Cardinals. Somewhere out east. Okay, options.
Options are the Cincinnati Bengals,
No.
the Washington Redskins, or the New York Giants.
The Redskins, final answer.
Question number 3. What college did legendary quarterback Dan Marino attend?
Pitt, final answer.
And question number 4. TCU and North Carolina will play their 2026 opener in Ireland. How many wins did the Tar Heels record in their first season under head coach Bill Belichick?
Oh, man, I think it was 3 or 4. But I don't need the options because it's going to be like 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 5. Man. Let's go 3, final answer.
All right, let's go over these. Carey, how are you feeling?
I'm okay.
All right.
Wish I didn't have to take the options on the first 2. But I felt confident about them.
Well, let's see how you do.
All right.
Let's start off with question number 1. This 6-time Pro Bowl selection at defensive tackle had 50 sacks over 5 seasons in New Orleans, as well as 12 in 3 seasons in St. Louis. Name him. Andrew, you took the options. You said, give me the glove. Carey, you said Leroy Glover. Correct answer is Leroy Glover. Both of you needed the options. So we're tied at 1 apiece.
Good job, Andrew.
Let's go to question number 3. What college did legendary quarterback Dan Marino attend? Carey, you said Pitt. Andrew, you said UCLA. The correct answer is it's Pitt.
It is.
Carey, you did not need the options. You're now up 3-1. Let's go to question number 4. TCU and North Carolina will play their 2026 opener in Ireland. How many wins did the Tar Heels record in their first season under head coach Bill Belichick? Carey, you did not use the options. You went with 3. You said, I think it's going to be 3, 4, 5, somewhere in that range. You landed on 3. Andrew landed on 4. The correct answer is 4. But Andrew did not need the options. We have a tie ball game,
Good job,
gentlemen.
Andrew.
3-3.
Living a prayer.
Heading into the final question, which is question number 2. Identify the organization that in 2006 made former Ram Adam Archuleta the highest paid safety in NFL history. I'm going to let you both know you both took the options.
Okay.
Andrew did not take the options. However, he landed on the New York Giants, which was an option.
Okay. Yeah.
Carey, you did take the options. You said it was the Washington Redskins at the time. If it is Washington, Carey, you will win. If it's the Giants, Andrew will head to round 3. And if it is the Cincinnati Bengals, we have ourselves a walk-off. Andrew.
You have chosen poorly.
You lose today.
It was the Washington Redskins. I am sorry, Andrew. Carey beat you 4-3 today.
Is that score correct? I swear I thought it'd be tied.
So you both had 1 with the Glover question. Carey got the question 2 correct with 1 point. He also took 2. He got 2 points with the Pitt question, which was question 3, and then you tied him up there with the North Carolina one.
All right. Hey, that was great.
Good job, Andrew.
Good job.
Whew. Man. So I initially thought Cardinals, and I was like, no, it's not the Cardinals. And then I was like, it's on the West Coast. And I did think Washington, but I was unsure, so I needed the options. And fortunately, it worked out for me. That Bill Belichick one almost cost me, though.
Yeah.
That was a little bit nerve-wracking.
Man, when he said, "Are you sure that score's right?" I'm like, "Well, now I don't know, man." I think it is.
Oh man,
I did the math correct. Yeah,
we got it all.
You both went with Glover with the options. Carey took the options. You got the Washington Redskins for Adam Archuleta, which put you up 1. Then you went up 2 more points, up 3 with Pitt.
Yeah,
and then he came roaring back.
You got the Bill Belichick one.
Bill Belichick.
I knew it was 3 or 4.
You won by 1.
Yeah, I did. Thankfully, I didn't want to sit over there and have to not hear myself and drive the show.
I didn't want to have to go back to school and learn math.
Well, that's Andrew Barshop, Carey Davis. Coming up next, we got our good friend and co-host Jamie Rivers joining us from the road in Calgary. He's going to talk to us about what's going on with the Blues and kind of what those expectations are for the rest of the season. We'll talk to Jamie next on 101 ESPN. Welcome back to the Fast Lane. I'm Carey Davis, joined by Andrew Marsh, and we got an Omaha.
Yes.
Got an audible. Jamie will not be joining us, but we will still talk about the Blues. And Marshy, I was thinking about this in earlier today and in the office when we were talking. The Blues, when they come out of this rebuild, who do we think will be their core? Because I remember there was I don't remember who he was talking to, but Army was speaking. I don't know if it was earlier this year or...
I think it was, yeah.
Earlier this season, where he mentioned the core pieces as being like the Holloways and the Brobergs and I think he said Snuggerud and some of the younger players. But noticeably, some of the names that we often consider the core members, which are the Buchneviches, Kyrou, Thomas, Parayko, those names weren't mentioned. And I'm one of the people, I don't think anything is done by coincidence. Right, I don't think that was just an oversight by by Army saying that these are the core players that we're referring to going forward. So, and I'm not saying that Robert Thomas won't be here or Pavel Buchnevich won't be here or Jordan Kyrou won't be here. No one knows. They did try to move on from Colton Parayko. He didn't waive his no trade clause, so he stayed. But there were some possibilities or some opportunities and some conversations of a lot of these players that we consider the core now, potentially not being here in the future. So my question to you and to the fans, to the listeners, who do we think is going to be considered the core when this rebuild is finally finished? Because Dylan Holloway is a really good hockey player when healthy.
Oh, yeah.
Jimmy Snuggerud is a really good hockey player, and he's on the ascend. Like, I think we're starting to see, and then we got a pairing of two young defensemen in Broberg and Mayu that are playing top minutes and playing extremely well as well.
So why don't we do this? Why don't we establish the amount of players that you think should be or could be the core of a team, not just the Blues, but like when you think of a core in any sport, even like the Cardinals, how many players are you associating a core with? Is it 4? Is it 5? Is it 3?
So I would say for me, it's generally, if it's a football team, right? I would say you're maybe 2 or 3 people on offense, 1 or 2, 3 people on defense, a special teamer, and that special teamer could be not just a kicker or a holder or a long snapper. It could be one of the guys that are on special teams.
Yeah, there's one guy
of the core 4 special teams guys.
Who's that guy on the Patriots that's like just an all-time special teams player? He's got long hair.
Shaughnessy. No, what's his name? I know who you're talking about.
I can't remember, but like I'm just like, that guy's a special teamer.
Every time. So for me, football is that. I think if you're looking at hockey, you're probably looking at a forward, a defenseman, and a goalie. Right, and maybe 2 in one of those positions.
Besides goalie, yeah.
Right. Besides goalie.
No, I agree with you.
So that would be 3 to 5 players could be your core on a hockey team would be my assumption. And as I'm looking at it, I think Logan Mayu, Logan Mayu and Broberg are positioning themselves to be a major part of the core going forward, being your top pair defensemen. They're doing an outstanding job. We had JR on yesterday, and he talked about the amount of minutes that Logan Mayu is getting with the time on the ice. You mentioned that, had 25 or 26 minutes in his last game. He's playing outstanding now, and there were a lot of concerns for him when he first got here. I think those 2 defensemen would be part of your core going forward. I think Joe Hofer has positioned himself to be goalie 1A, and that's not a slight on anything that Jordan Bennington has done this year or in his entire career. He's done a fantastic job, but I think we're starting to see kind of those 2 ships passing in the night where you're seeing Joe Hofer take that 1A spot as a goalie. And then on the from the forwards perspective, I think Robert Thomas is still a part of that core situation because that first line, for me, they're playing outstanding. And Robert Thomas is in the center of them, which is allowing those 2 players on his wing to be really good hockey players.
So I think if we did the 2, and then 1 scenario, for the 2, and I'm going to go ahead and leave Robert Thomas out of this.
Okay.
I would say Dylan Holloway and Jimmy Snuggerud. If we just solely had to pick 2.
Can I offer you, can I present to you a Jake Neighbors as well? Or are you solely saying this based off of
our criteria?
Okay.
Based on our criteria, obviously we can expand it, but if we're just going off of what we're talking about, I would say Jimmy Snuggerud, Dylan Holloway, only because those guys are, I think they're more dynamic players than Jake Neighbors. But obviously I think Jake Neighbors has his role on this team, and he can score 20 goals. We've seen it before, and he's a heck of a leader too. So you do have to throw him in that conversation. But for the sake of the exercise, I would throw Dylan Holloway and Jimmy Snuggerud into that camp. My thing with Robert Thomas, I hope that he stays. I think what they have built for that first line, and I know it's been a small sample size. I think it's very entertaining. They're playing really good hockey right now. I would find it tough to see Robert Thomas go elsewhere at this point in time. And who else is going to take over as your top line center? Who do you have faith in? Is it Dalibor Dvorsky? I mean, I don't really think so. Not right now.
Right.
So, and obviously Braden Shen's not here anymore. I don't know who else you're going to put into that situation. I don't really want to wait another 4 to 5 years for this team to be good. I really don't. I understand why people would want to shake things up, but just watching these two play with Robert Thomas and their chemistry, I mean, it's off the charts. It's off the charts right now.
To answer your question about waiting around for the rebuild to finish, we get a text from Not So PC Principal says, my 9-year-old nephew Joshy just took up hockey. By the time this damn rebuild is over, he may be a core of the Blues when it's all said and done.
No, we don't want that. I mean, we would love for your,
we'd love for your
Joshy to be in the NHL.
I hope you are an outstanding hockey player. Hope you love the game and you play hard and listen to your mom and dad and your uncle. Do a good job. But I hope we were past the rebuild before Joshy is ready to become part of the core of the St. Louis Blues.
So Grant Francis Fan Club chimes in, your core can be bigger than 5. I mean, I agree. It absolutely can. I was just trying to create an exercise here. Yeah. But then at some point, we might just be naming the entire team. And
I don't think the entire team is part of the core.
No, I don't either.
I don't. But that's why I said I think it could be 2 to 3 players, per position, obviously, and one goalie. And that's why I did mention a Robert Thomas or a Jake Neighbors. I think that those two still being here, obviously Neighbors, and if Robert Thomas does not get traded, hopefully he's still a part of what they're trying to do here. We'll see what the offseason holds because there have been a lot of conversations about potentially his movement and this trade deadline. So we don't know what the offseason is going to hold, but if he is here and he is a part of this core, I think they're ascending in the right direction. My only problem, well, I got a lot of problems in life, but my only hockey problem with the Blues is, are you going to be consistent?
Right.
That's the question that I think Jim Montgomery asks himself every day. What version are we going to get? I know the March version of this team. I've seen it 2 years in a row. Can that March version be the October version? Can it be the November version? Can it be December, January, February? Can it be more than just 1 month of good play when you are so far back in the standings that your only option is to play loose and just whatever happens, happens? Because I do think that is a part of it as well.
Absolutely it is.
You have nothing to lose. There's no pressure here. There's nothing that if you perform poorly, you've been performing poorly all season. So nobody looks at it and says, "Oh, these guys stink." They're like, "Oh, that's who they are." But then you surprise some people, and they're like, "Well, what the hell has this been all year?"
Yeah, I wonder how much they weigh what we're witnessing now, at least with that top line, and what we've witnessed over the last few years. If they come to the realization, well, this hasn't worked. I understand they're playing really well right now. It hasn't worked, though. We need to switch it up. Or if they're looking at this stretch of games and they're like, man, this is an incredible top line.
Yeah.
I wonder what this could look like for a full season with some more seasoning from some of these players.
I think that would be one of the reasons why I would run it back with that top line. I think they have found something. Dylan Holloway being healthy obviously changes everything. We had Monty on there kind of breaking it down.
Yeah.
You got the sharpshooter in Snuggerud. You got a guy that makes things happen. And then you got Dylan Holloway who doesn't mind getting in there and doing the dirty work. They have all the components for a really good top line, and that line has been playing extremely well. I think what they've done in this time frame is probably, there's some reassessment going on in that front office for the Blues, and like, okay, we can try it again with this core, with this group, this first line group. But maybe you look at some other pieces and say, okay, We got to get better on the second line.
Yep.
We got to get better on the third line. We definitely got to get better on the fourth line. We have to make upgrades in some other positions for this team to have the sustained success that we want them to have.
Yeah, I think that's what we're seeing right now. That first line, very top heavy in terms of production throughout the forward group. You have to wonder what things look like if you could ultimately bolster the bottom six or even that second line, because I think there's some players right now that maybe aren't playing up to snuff that you would hope to see when three other dudes are.
100%. That's Andrew Marsh. I'm Carey Davis. Coming up next, we have Bet the Board here on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marks. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Universal Windows Direct. Tonight, we have the first two matchups tonight. UMBC going up against Howard. Pregame starts at 5:30, so we are off early today. Tip-off is at 5:40, and then following that game, Texas and North Carolina State. Tip-off at 8:15. We're going to do Bet the Board coming up next, but after that, we're going to do Fill in the Blank. So if you have a fill in the blank statement you want to send our way, get ahead of it and send your fill in the blank statement to the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646. Also, if you missed anything from today's show, including our interview with former Cardinal pitcher Kyle Gibson, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app. Just head to the podcast page and you'll find all of our interviews and all of our shows there. And it's all brought to you by the Schaefer Door Company. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Universal Windows Direct.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane. It is time for us to bet the board. Marshy, hit me with those standings. What do we have?
Oh, Carey, big night for you last night.
Finally.
You're back on the board. 2 points for Carey this month. Actually, we all did really well last night. We all hit our picks. So
everybody hit, huh?
Everybody hit.
I finally hit, and everybody else hit too, huh?
There you go.
That stinks.
Standings. I'm in the lead with 8 points. Anthony has 7 points. Jamie has 6 points. And, of course, Carey, like I just mentioned, you are at 2.
All right.
Now, I do not want to take Anthony and Jamie's picks, although I am ahead of them, so I could do that. So,
and maybe you should. I don't know, Marsh. That Hurricanes money line, I don't know. You like it or not?
I'm going to go ahead and do my own pick.
Okay.
But Anthony is taking Texas plus 1.5 tonight. And then Jamie's going with the Carolina Hurricanes on the money line.
Yes, they are minus 125.
So that is what they have decided to do. I am going to the WBC final tonight. I'm looking at the over, which is at 9. I'm going to try and go to the alternate over, under. And I think the only one I can get is 8.5. I'm actually going to take that so there's no push and I lose. So if they
8.5,
I'm going to go 8.5 instead of the 9. It's at minus 131.
You're going over
8.5 runs. Yes.
All right. I just lost mine. I'm going with the Minnesota Timberwolves at minus 2.5 versus on the alt line versus the Phoenix Suns tonight. Hopefully I can rack up 2 in a row, man. That'd be nice. I'd feel good about that. Be fun if I could do that. Hey, the NCAA men's basketball tournament tips off this week, and you can watch the games this Thursday and Friday with 101 ESPN and Bud Light. This Thursday, join BK and Ferrario from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., and then the Fast Lane from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m., broadcasting live from Helen Fitzgerald's. Then on Friday, you can join both shows as they broadcast live from Ray's Sports House in Soulard. Enjoy some food, a cold Bud Light, 101 giveaways, and plenty of screens to watch all of the games. Get more details at 101ESPN.com. Our Madness of March broadcasts are refreshed by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
Carey, do you like the first 4?
I hate it. I think it's terrible. I'm not a fan, but I say that, and then I will contradict myself. I don't mind doing that.
You're gonna watch it.
I will, because SMU is in the final in the first 4, and my nephew plays for SMU, so I will actually be watching. So in that case, I'm excited. So if you haven't learned anything about me, if it impacts me, I'm good for it. But some things, not so much. I think it's the thing that I don't like about it is that they actually count that as a win for the tournament. So if you make it and you win that first 4 game, you're already considered having 1 win in the tournament, as opposed to that's an alternative, play-in tournament or play-in game, and then you get into the actual tournament and you gain your first win if you're able to win that game.
I feel bad that Miami of Ohio is in this.
That's kind of ridiculous.
First four.
It's unfortunate for them because here's a team, they lost one game all year. And you can say, oh, they didn't play anybody or look at their conference and all of those things, but you still lost one game. Now, I will say that, if I'm not mistaken, I think their last 7 games were one-possession games. So they were playing with fire for a long time before they finally lost in that MAC tournament. But they don't deserve, in my opinion, to be in the play-in first games. Just my opinion. And they're playing SMU, who I just said I'm cheering for. So go figure.
Yeah, it's
no
gonna be a tough night for the MAC.
No MAC. What's today? Wednesday? Tuesday?
Tuesday.
It's MACtion too.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they're not playing.
Yeah, Anthony would be happy for MACtion on a Tuesday, but Anthony, I'm sorry, brother. I think the Miami of Ohio Redhawks are going to take an L.
Now, do you think Anthony is rooting for the Redhawks because they are a MAC team, or do you think because they're not Central Michigan, he hopes they lose?
I think he's okay with any team not named Western Michigan in the MAC.
Okay.
Is that fair? Is that a fair assessment of his fandom?
I would say
his MAC fandom. Like he's a MACtion guy.
Is there a team in the Big Ten? I know you like to root for the Big Ten. Is there a team in the Big Ten where you're like, I don't like you. I don't care if you are representing the conference that I like. I hope you lose.
In basketball?
Just in football or basketball.
If they're not playing Illinois, I don't care. Like
so
if
you really don't care?
No, if they're not playing Illinois, I don't care.
Okay.
I really don't. If you're playing Illinois, I want you to lose.
Right.
That's just how it goes. But if you're, competing for a national championship or having an like I was happy for Indiana to win a national championship. I thought that was one of the coolest things in the world. One, because hell, they ain't never done it.
Right.
2, because it gave me hope that maybe the Illini would one day be able to do the same thing.
That's true.
For me, it was a bright side thing. It was very, very exciting to watch Indiana win that trophy, win that championship this year. I thought it was really cool.
Well, anyways, yeah, you can listen to the first four despite us not really being huge fans of it. You can listen to it tonight right on 101 ESPN.
Tune in. Starting at 5:30. We were off early.
UMBC, we were talking about them earlier
University
in the break.
of Maryland, Baltimore County versus Howard, HU.
That's the team that beat Virginia back in the day.
16 they were 16 over 1. Yep. So maybe they have some luck in them again. We'll see.
That'd be cool.
Coming up next, get your text in. We're going to play Fill in the Blank. This is where you send us a text, and we have to fill in the blank. That's coming up next here on The Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Welcome back to the Fast Lane. I'm Carey Davis, joined by Andrew Marsh, and it is time for Fill in the Blank. Marshy, what do you have?
All right, let's go to the 636. I know we were talking about the Blues a little bit ago from the 636. Blank will be the new captain of the Blues.
Oh, man. I know that everyone... That's a good question. Honestly, I don't know. If I were to make a pick, I'm kind of torn between Jake Neighbors and actually Robert Thomas. I think Robert Thomas has kind of, since Braden Shen was traded, you're starting to see a different version of him. I think he's being more vocal, being, more willing to speak and talk to media. And I know he's on TMA, I think a couple of days ago or last week sometime, like having those conversations. That's what's expected of you as a leader of a team. Mm-hmm. But it also matters what your teammates think about you. And so you can kind of be what the media thinks the leader is, but that doesn't matter more than what your teammates think the leader is. And so the only people that really know who the next captain of that team is are the men in that locker room.
Would you say there is probably 1 to 3 candidates, like true candidates?
I would say right now I'm at 2. Who would you say would be the third?
I'd throw Colton Parayko in there just for...
So for me, if we didn't have
tenure purposes,
if we didn't have the trade scenario, because I think that that may be something that they revisit in the offseason. I don't know. They might. So for me, it's Robert Thomas and Jake Neighbors. I don't even know, who else would be considered on that. Mm-hmm. I don't think Dylan Holloway or Broberg have been here long enough. I don't think you give it to a goalie. Mm-hmm. Justin Falk is no longer here. What other defensemen are you looking at as long tenured players or guys that have had, the success that the players that I just named have had? Everyone else is young, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for me, it would be just those two.
I mean, I think you're right.
I think
you're right. I just threw Parayko on there just for, let's just throw the guy's name on there. But he would be, out of those 3, he would be the third one. All right, Ledoux Lawn Boy, who I ran into at the gas station down the street on Friday. Shout out to Ledoux Lawn Boy. Here we go. Blank will lead the Cardinals in ribbies with Donnie and Wilson gone. I'm not sure how we get runners home.
Well, somebody got to score. Unless I don't think you're going to go. I don't think you're not going to hit or score any runs. Mm-hmm. Right, Marshy? Now, what that number is, who knows? But I'm going to go with Ivan Herrera. I got Ivan Herrera leading the team in RBIs and him being, the main guy that is able to drive in those runners for this team. Now, who he is driving in, I have no clue. Again, I don't know, Marsh. I don't know what to expect. I'm excited, but it's almost like Christmas, where you don't know what gifts you're getting, but you're getting a gift. Now, Marsh, I'm gonna be honest with you, that gift could be socks. It could be underwear.
Yeah.
Or it could be a new bike.
I got a new bike for Christmas.
You don't know.
Yeah.
Now, if it's socks and underwear, as an adult, I understand the essential part of it. I would love, give me more socks.
I literally asked for socks this year and underwear for Christmas.
Give it to me.
I literally did.
As a kid, the hell are we doing with these socks and underwear, man?
It's funny how things change the older you get. Like, I still have my mom will ask me, what do you want for Christmas? And I'm like, I have no clue.
Nah, I don't know.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I think I asked for like soap or something this year, like laundry detergent. There you go. Like little stuff that I need that I'm like.
Don't get yourself.
Well, no, I get it myself, but I'm like,
it's easier if somebody just.
Yeah, why not just throw that in there? I did get a new laundry basket. I needed one of those. So then
the simple things, man.
The detergent and all that stuff, it was inside the laundry basket. I'm like, this is a great gift.
Yes. Yeah. So maybe that's what the Cardinals are giving out this year. Or maybe it's a new bike. I don't know, man.
Or it'll be a lump of coal. Who knows? I'm going to go with Alec Burleson.
I like that pick,
So Burley and Herrera last season, 2 and 3 in terms of driving runners in. Contreras was number 1 with 80. Burleson, Anthony's favorite number of 69. Ivan Herrera, the Emperor Palpatine, his favorite number, 66. So I think those two. I think Herrera, if he can stay healthy.
That's Herrera played 30 less games than Burley did last year. So I think I agree with you. If he's healthy, you could see some really good numbers from Avon Herrera.
All right. From the 636, if Daniel Jones stays healthy for the Colts, they will finish blank.
Oh, I want to say first in the division, but he's not healthy now.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know when he's going to be healthy. I don't know when he's going to be ready to play with a torn Achilles. I think that's something like with Patrick Mahomes and Daniel Jones and when guys I think we tend to forget that there's a recovery time, and not just a recovery time, but also getting back acclimated to doing football activities, because when you have a lower leg injury that is preventing you from running, or if you're a quarterback that is preventing you from doing your drops or preventing you from throwing the football, I don't know how long it takes for you to get back into that mode. So if he were healthy now and ready to roll, I would say they have a potential to win the division. But with him being injured and I don't know his timetable for return, I have no clue. And I think the Jacksonville Jaguars showed last year that they are a team that's up and coming.
Give me a percentage of how much you think that Daniel Jones and what is going on with the Colts will be the exact same thing that happened when he got paid with the Giants.
Ooh.
Like, had a good year. They went to the playoffs with the Giants. They won a round. He got paid, and then he stunk.
I'm gonna go lower than you probably think.
Okay.
I think it's more likely that he's actually going to be better than he was in New York.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe a 25% chance that it's similar. I don't think it's gonna. I mean that what he had around him in New York and what he was dealing with. I mean, we watched the Hard Knocks, right?
We did.
We saw the GM say, "Yeah, we don't need Saquon. Hell with that guy." Yeah. He didn't say that, but he might as well had. You know what I mean? We saw that after the year, it was a bleep show. Mm-hmm. That they blamed Dayball. It was bad. Not Dayball, but Dayball.
Oh, yeah, they fired him.
They fired him.
It was his fault.
Yeah, it was his fault.
Although I don't think that he really had a good team.
I don't either.
I'm actually impressed that he even made the playoffs and won a playoff game with the team that went to the playoffs.
Yes. So I think it's a better situation now for Daniel Jones in Indianapolis than it was for him in New York. So I don't think it'll be similar in terms of after he got paid.
All right, from the 417, the perfect food to kick off the NCAA tournament Thursday is blank.
Oh, man. I mean, if I had my pizza and a beer, like sitting down, pizza, wings, beer.
Yeah, wings, yeah.
Like I all together now, like I would be okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to a good wing and a nice slice of pizza. Mm-hmm. And you're sitting at your favorite bar, and you just with your hands, Marcia. You got your hands.
Got to get those fingers on that food.
Yeah, get my hands dirty.
And we're going to be at Helen's, so stop by.
Yeah, please do.
Eat some food with us. We're going to be eating some food.
We will be eating
some food.
Having a good time. We won't be able to drink a beer, though, unfortunately. Not while we're on air. I think that's frowned upon. I don't know. Maybe Ryder can tell us. Probably is.
I think it would be frowned upon. Yeah. I think...
probably in some bylaw that Jamie stuffed somewhere.
All right, from the 573, Jordan Walker's leash is blank long with the Cardinals.
All season long. I believe it. I mean, I think we had Kyle Gibson on earlier, and obviously he wasn't a hitter, but he talked about the mechanics that go into hitting and how long it takes a hitter to make adjustments versus how long it takes a pitcher to make adjustments. And he mentioned, adding a pitch and being able to change that pitch or throw that pitch within, 3 to 6 weeks, where sometimes it takes hitters longer to really just change things mechanically with what they're doing. And there are adjustments that have to be made, especially at this level. These are the best players in the world. They're going to attack you when they find a weakness. And, Jordan Walker has been attacked. And so he has to make adjustments, and hopefully he does. But I do think that it will be a season-long opportunity for them to see if he's able to figure it out or not.
All right, let's do one more from Jim Reaper. What's up, boys? I'm sure you chatted a little about Bam Adebayo's 83 points last week. Blank is your favorite out-of-nowhere performance from someone who isn't a superstar. Jim Reaper's favorite was when Tatis hit 2 grand slams in one inning.
That's a good one. Oh, what performance would be like just out of nowhere?
I remember in high school, and I remember how big Lynn Sanity was.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That was a favorite of mine throughout high school.
That was just like out of nowhere for a good time frame. That's a really good one. I'm not good with my memory is terrible. So like remembering performances from people that you probably didn't expect it. I'm terrible with that.
Some game that Ryan Fitzpatrick played in.
Probably.
With the whole Fitz magic thing.
We got one, David Freese. That was probably, that's probably one of the best ones here.
Yeah. Okay, so with David Freese, though, if we're talking strictly about the World Series and Game 6 and all that stuff, did that really come out of nowhere? Because he was playing really well the prior series against Milwaukee.
Did you expect it, though?
Well, did I expect after him dropping a ball and the Cardinals coming back? Not really, but it was a great time to be a Cardinals fan.
Yeah. I don't know. We got some other texts here. We got hard-hitting Mark Witten hitting 4 home runs. Doug Martin, the muscle hamster, scoring 5 touchdowns. Peyton Hillis, I think that was more of a season than it was a game. Peyton Hillis played so damn well, he got put on the cover of Madden.
Yeah, he did.
Now you talking about out of nowhere.
Yeah.
That was out of nowhere.
So we're getting Jordan Bennington, too. I guess I'm confused. Are we doing like a stretch of games? I guess I made it a stretch of games with Lynn Sanity. I was more so thinking about that first time that he popped off, but he kept it going. Are we looking at just one single performance in a game, or are we trying to stretch it out a little bit?
I thought it was more of a specific game.
Okay.
As opposed to a moment.
Right.
Like Lynn Sanity was probably a movement. Like it was a time frame where he was really one of the best players in all of basketball.
Yeah.
It might have been like 30 games, but it was a time. And it came out of nowhere, man.
That is wild.
That was wild.
I can't really think of any other ones.
Oh, TJ Warren in the bubble was now. I do remember I do remember. Because TJ Warren in the bubble, I think it was for the Pacers. They were like, man, this dude is going to be a max contract. Like, he is special. Hey, he was just the bubble. He was really good in the bubble.
I think it's cool to look at the flip side of that, too, with somebody who wasn't a superstar, who then had a great performance and then has transcended the game. I think of Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Speaking of the NCAA tournament, when Davidson went on their run, I believe it was 2008, they finally ended up losing to Kansas. But that run that he went on, and then what he became in the NBA transcended the game. Everybody shoots threes now. Now the game stinks. It was all because of that one run in 2008.
Started right there at Davidson.
I believe they beat Wisconsin that year. They beat a few good teams.
They had a good run, man.
And it's crazy he didn't even shoot the final shot to, move on to the Final Four. He decided to dish it off, and they ended up missing it and lost to Kansas. I remember watching that game.
Unfortunately.
And, at the time, I didn't want Kansas to win. I wanted Davidson to win, and they fell short.
That's Andrew Marsh. I'm Carey Davis. Coming up next, we have the biggest question of the day here on the Fast Lane.
question of the day. Presented by Banner Construction, the experts in James Hardy siding.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane, and the brackets are out, and you can get signed up to play in this year's Bracket Madness Pick'em Challenge right now on 101ESPN.com. It's free to enter, and this year's top scorer will take home a $250 Amazon gift card and a 101 prize pack. See the contest rules and get signed up to play in Bracket Madness now at 101ESPN.com. Bracket Madness is refreshed by Bud Light, easy to drink and easy to enjoy. Marshy, give me the biggest question of the day, please.
All right, the biggest question of the day in terms of a panic meter for SLU, Mizzou, and Illinois. What level of confidence do you have in your program to at least make it to the Sweet 16? Obviously, we talked yesterday about these teams sort of backing into the NCAA tournament. So are you panicking about where your team is at right now? Where's your level of confidence at?
Yeah, and listeners, we want your mic drops on this. We will play them tomorrow because we are off early today for the Howard and UMBC basketball game, the play-in game. But leave a mic drop and tell us where you are in terms of panic meter for your favorite program, SLU, Mizzou, or Illinois. I will start with Illinois. My panic meter isn't too high. We have Penn in the first round. We are in the South region with Florida, which I'm not too overly concerned with that. We do also have Houston as the number 2 seed in our region. We're the number 3 seed. We would have to beat Penn, and then the winner of North Carolina and VCU, and then potentially Houston, who looks like they will more than likely come out of that portion of the bracket. But I'm not overly concerned. I think that this Illinois team, I know that they lost in a terrible way in the Big Ten tournament. They were up by, I believe, 15 at one point to Wisconsin and found a way to not finish it out, lost in overtime, couldn't get a timely rebound, couldn't, get the ball in the basket, couldn't do a lot of things that have been some of the issues that they've dealt with all year. But I do feel like that this offense and some of the players that they have are so gifted. If Keaton Wagler can do what he's done all season long in the Big Ten, be a force, with his shot and getting to the line and getting in the lane, getting to the line. If Stojakovic can also be the number 2 player on the court, I think they have a really good chance to make a run here. So my panic meter for the Fighting Illini is not high at all. I'm excited about where they are and the bracket that they are in.
Yeah, in terms of the Sweet 16, I think that they are in a good spot. When it comes to SLU, I think my panic meter would be a little higher just because of the way that they finished the season. I don't think that they can get down and find their way back in the second half. Based on what I've seen recently, you can't go down early like they have been. And as for Mizzou, I don't really know how Mizzou fans are feeling in terms of, I'm kind of panicking about this matchup. I think Mizzou fans are just happy to be here.
They might be.
That's how I feel. That's from what I've seen online and some of our listeners. I think they're just happy to be in this situation because we've had conversations about them maybe not even making it.
Right. I think Mizzou has a really good opportunity and a really good chance. If you're able to beat Miami and then play more than likely number 2 seed Purdue, I think you put yourself in a position to possibly make it to the Sweet 16. And I think if you'd have told Mizzou fans that at some point in December when they got beat up by Illinois, probably wouldn't have felt that way. Like there were some lean times earlier in this year, but they got healthy. They got some players back. They got guys that are playing at a high level, Mark Mitchell being one of them. And if they can find a way to beat Miami, I think they really have a good chance against Purdue because Purdue bracket time, I don't know which Purdue shows up from year to year. So I think there's a good chance for Mizzou to make it to the Sweet 16. And for SLU, man, you got to score 90. I think that's like the bottom line. I think SLU and Illinois are extremely similar. Like, you got to score. You can't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
You can't have empty possessions. You got to knock down your free throws. You got to play good defense. And you got to limit the opposing team to one possession. When you allow a team to get multiple opportunities with offensive rebounds, you're going to struggle. So I think SLU needs to score 90 points to win. And when they do, they usually do win.
So if they take down Georgia and it looks good, they look like the team that we witnessed for a majority of the season, they would then go up against, unless there is a massive upset, they'd go up against Michigan. How would you feel heading into that matchup?
It was a fun while it lasted.
It was a fun run.
Because I got Michigan. I really do think Michigan is going to come out of the Midwest region. I'm looking at Iowa State, who I put them on upset alert against Tennessee State. Kentucky, I don't know which version of Kentucky. Sorry, Zoosh. Which version you're going to get from them. Alabama had some off-the-court issues here recently.
I saw that.
So who knows what their deal is. I think Michigan has a fairly easy, and I know it's March Madness, so anything can happen, but I think Michigan has a fairly easy path to the Final Four, as does I think Michigan has one of the easiest paths, because in the West, I don't have the number 1 seed coming out. I think Duke has the hardest path.
Which is wild.
It's so wild, man. It's wild.
The number 1 overall seed heading into the tournament, why there's so many just established programs in that region.
They got some programs there and some coaches there, man.
Yeah.
Some guys that have won championships, some guys that know how to win at this time of the year. In Duke's bracket, I think that's the gauntlet. That East bracket is a gauntlet for teams to get out of, because when you have that many good coaches that have won championships, Bill Self, Hurley, who else you got? You got Tom Izzo in that bracket. You've got guys that have won.
Pitino in that bracket.
You've got champions as coaches in that bracket. So I think that's one of the toughest ones, and those programs generally coached by those coaches are always ready to play at this time of year.
Yeah, I'd have to say if they end up making it to the Final Four, let's say they win the national championship, you have to put that run up there with some of the best in terms of the hardest run to a national championship. I would have to assume, obviously I don't have the history of the NCAA tournament in front of me right now, but just based on what you just said in terms of all the coaches, the programs that are on that side of the bracket, it would be very impressive.
It would be. It'd be a really good run for Duke if they were to make it to the Final Four and win a championship out of that bracket. Good for them. Make sure you get your mic drops in. We will play them tomorrow. Let us know your panic meter for your program, SLU, Mizzou, or Illinois. How are you feeling about the tournament as it starts up? Well, it starts up the play-in tonight, and then you get the games going on Thursday. Should be ready to roll.
I would say even if you're not a fan of these 3 teams, obviously we have Gator, who's a Florida Gators fan. We have Zoosh, who's a Kentucky fan. If you have a certain team that you are a fan of, feel free to send in a mic drop.
Let us know. Let us know your panic meter for the 2026 March Madness as we head down to trying to figure out who these Final Four teams are. We're off early today, so we got one more segment left. We'll conclude this show when we return on 101 ESPN. Right now, FanDuel is dropping bonus bets into everyone's account for the tournament. All you have to do is opt in to claim your bonus. Use them on bracket picks, money lines, spreads, totals, game props, or even same game parlays. But don't wait. These bonus bets are only available for a limited time, and you're looking at the SLU versus Georgia. Maybe you want to take SLU as your bracket pick. Maybe you like them on the money line. Maybe you like them in the spread. Or maybe you're looking at Mizzou taking on Miami in St. Louis. Should have some fans there coming down from Columbia cheering on the Tigers. Maybe you want to take them in one of their game props, or maybe you make it a same game parlay with those two teams. Your choice, but don't wait. These bets are only available for a limited time. Just visit FanDuel.com/local to learn more. Must be 21 plus and present in Missouri. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max bonus $500 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Universal Windows Direct. We are off early today. In the next 12 minutes, we will have some first four action college hoops right here on 101 ESPN. UMBC going up against Howard. Pregame starts at 5:30, tip-off at 5:40, and then Texas, North Carolina State will follow that game. Tip-off at 8:15. If you miss anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app. Just head to the podcast page and you'll find all of our interviews and all of our shows there, and it's all brought to you by the Schaefer Door Company. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Universal Windows Direct.
If you missed anything from today's show, you can always download the podcast, available at 101ESPN.com or via the Dobbs Tire and Auto Center 101 ESPN mobile app. Podcasts are always brought to you by Schaefer Door Company. Time to find out what we learned today. Marshy, you go first.
What did I learn today? I learned that there is an NBA player that doesn't want more teams in the NBA.
Oh, well,
and I think he was being super real about it.
He might have been. I mean, you don't want to water down the product anymore. But I do also think that expansion is good for the NBA. I think it's good for all sports. Get some more franchises, get some more fans involved, get some more cities involved, more money, more people making money. You know, more people getting paid, more jobs, more opportunities, more, Marshy.
What do you think about Vegas getting a basketball team and just Vegas in general and how much they have poured into professional sports within the last decade?
Good for them, man. You got a baseball team, you got a football team, you got a hockey team, you may be getting a basketball team. Good for them. I'm never... Yeah,
they got a hell of a WNBA team,
too. They do. The Aces are really good as well. I'm never going to poo-poo on any team or any city getting teams. I hurt for cities like Oakland that have lost multiple teams over the last few years. I hurt for St. Louis has lost 2 NFL franchises. Not one, but 2. Yeah, man, it's rough. The Seattle Supersonics leaving Seattle. Like that. It's a fan base of people that enjoyed that team, that organization. And so if you can get your team back, Seattle, good for you. Proud of you. Happy for you.
What'd you learn today, Carey?
I learned that our good friend Kyle Gibson is an outstanding man, but he did not like getting home runs hit on him. He said he would mumble some things under his breath. Now, he didn't hit anybody intentionally. At least that's what he told us. We may have to go back and look at the film, Kyle, because I'm sure. No, I take you. Yeah, I trust you at your word. You're a man of your word. But I'm sure he wanted to. And nobody likes to give up home runs. Said as he left his hand, he knew it wasn't a good pitch.
That's a tough feeling.
That's got to be a bad feeling, man.
The second you throw a baseball, you're like, that's gone.
Oh, no. I hope he doesn't swing. Oh, he swung. Good God. Yeah, that's tough, man.
That is tough.
Mark, do we have any criticisms and compliments today?
Let's go to the 314, who says Vegas is the absolute worst city to get any sports.
Wow. That is a criticism if I've ever heard one.
Not for us, of course, but for the city of Las Vegas.
I like Vegas, man. Vegas is a great city. Yeah. Why do you hate Vegas so much?
I've never been to Vegas.
Never?
So no, I have never been.
And I got to the point where I was going to Vegas like once a year and not doing anything on the strip. Like I went and did like a mystery dinner where it was like you got to solve one of the people or, the killers in the dinner. I was having a good time in Vegas. Going to shows. Blue Man Group, went to see Cirque du Soleil.
Oh, nice.
The water version. I saw Michael Jackson, Cirque du Soleil. I was out there every year, man, by myself. Like a strange man, but having a good time. That's strange.
We got a text from 636 going to my first opening day ever next Thursday. Last row in the stadium, but let's fast lane go.
Let's go.
That's awesome.
Good luck, man. Have fun. But be careful out there.
I wonder what opening day will look like this season. Do you think it will still be packed?
Opening day is, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's opening day.
I mean, Cincinnati's opening day. Everybody goes to opening day, and then they don't go to the rest of the,
Opening day is almost a holiday. You know what I mean? People go out and celebrate and enjoy. You see the Clydesdales. You see the trucks with the former players and the current players. Like, I think it's a really special day. So, yes.
Colonel Sanders says, you two are awesome together. Thanks for keeping me entertained.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Thank you.
It was a fun day.
It was a fun day. Why you want to give me those 3 stars?
Yeah, of course.
Let's do that.
It's time for the Fast Lane's 3 Stars of the Day, presented by Circus Sports. No bet fees ever with the world's largest sports book, now at your fingertips in Illinois and Missouri.
3rd star of the day goes out to the newest St. Louis Blues defenseman. No first name, 1 last name, Loberg.
Yeah. So it happens when you try to combine Logan Mayu and Philip Broberg. You get Loberg. Yeah. He's a hell of a player, man. You got to watch him.
He really is.
Watch him. Shut down.
2nd star of the day goes out to Being Right.
Oh, man. Love that. That's my favorite thing, man.
Started the show off saying that.
I love being right. Who the hell doesn't, Marshy? Everybody wants to be right.
And our 1st star of the day goes out to Kyle Gibson, who joined the show today. Talk some baseball, talk some NCAA tournament. So shout out to Kyle Gibson for joining the show.
Yes, indeed. Good job. Enjoyed having Kyle on. I always enjoy having him on. He does a fantastic job when he's joining us. And hopefully we'll be able to get him on more in the future. Got some Cardinal baseball coming up, man. Opening day, 9 days away. Are you excited, Marshy?
I am excited. I'm really excited about baseball season. I'm just intrigued to see what this team will look like.
It's going to be fun, man. It's going to be exciting. Nonetheless, I don't know if it's going to be good baseball, bad baseball, but it should be entertaining baseball one way or the other.
I hope so. Usually when it's entertaining, it wins follow.
Yeah.
I would like to think so.
Yeah. Young players, man, young guys going out there and doing their job. Hopefully they have fun doing it. And hopefully they do it well. So we're off a little early today. You got UMBC versus Howard coming up at 5:30. That's when that game will be tipping off. We are out of here. We will be back tomorrow. Myself, Marshy, I think Bradford Bruns will be joining us. For myself, Andrew, Anthony Stalter, Jamie Rivers. Peace.